played against Leipzig at Ibrox in the second leg. Tavernier, Goldson, Bassett and Barisic the defence. Lundstrom, Jack, Kamara, Aribo, Wright and Kent. For Eintracht Frankfurt, all in white. They've made a couple of changes from the team that beat West Ham United. There is no Hinteregger in defence, so Torre starts alongside Tutar and Ndicka in front of Kevin Trapp, the goalkeeper, Knauf, Ruder, So and Kostic. And then you've got Kamada, Borre and Jesper Lundstrom is fit enough, as we've had a false start here for kickoff. The first whistle was actually for the players to take the knee, but Daichi Kamada, the Japanese international, actually kicked the ball back. So Lundstrom coming back in after missing, I think, the last 4 games with a hamstring injury that he picked up in the first leg against West Ham United. We are now underway, and a roar that greets the 2 sets of teams from their respective supporters as the ball is launched long. They scored early, of course, against West Ham United, and Ndicka after 51 seconds. They were looking for an equally fast start here in the cauldron of noise in the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, and it feels like it's a furnace in terms of the heat. And you're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live and also BBC Sound, with Rangers in all royal blue, playing from left to right as we look, and a chance for both sides to settle down. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, it's interesting how long immediately Eintracht Frankfurt wanted to go. Right back, almost to the centre back there, and everyone flew forward and just leathered it long. It's not sophisticated football, and I think Giovanni van Bronckhorst, with his Dutch background, was probably thinking, I remember this about 100 years ago. But they will use that tactic whenever they can. The Rangers, you know what? They're used to it. They've dealt with that before.
Pat Nevin, who has played in 5 finals in his professional career, scored in one of them, the 1982 European Under-18 Championship final.
You've done your homework.
It's Czechoslovakia. And now we've got Rangers trying to get further glory for Scotland. 1983 was the last Scottish success in a European club final. As Eintracht Frankfurt are on the attack, cross comes in from the right-hand side. Kostic can't control the ball deep inside the Rangers half. Still works over the ball on the left. And there was Ryan Jack to play the ball up towards Aribo. Aribo tries to touch it back towards right. Played back by Eintracht Frankfurt. Kostic on this left-hand side. Kostic with a hanging ball in. Knauf was there, he's headed it back. Kamada waits for the ball to settle, doesn't really get hold of it, and then it's sliced on the edge of the area. Maybe a sign of nerves from a couple of touches there from Eintracht Frankfurt. 0-0, 2.5 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Don't think you can argue the side that have started better have been Eintracht Frankfurt. They've been on the front foot. They played it long at the start, but they've got their players up behind that as well. And you see a bit of nervousness, but a wee bit of desperation with the Rangers defenders as well, haven't they? They've been trying to lash it away anywhere, and already, this early in the game, Aribo's been caught up the field with no Rangers player within about 40 yards, but it is early days.
Torre collects the ball from Tuta, the Brazilian defender. They play it out towards Knauf on the far side, the right. Kamara wins the ball for Rangers to Aribo, midway through the Eintracht Frankfurt half. Here is Lundstrom, plays a short ball, and then it's played back towards Conor Goldson, just outside the centre circle, as Rangers play from left to right as we look high at the back of this main stand here in Seville, the Europa League final. And then the ball played forward by Bassi. It'll be an unchallenged header forward from Almani Torre. Ball given away by Eintracht Frankfurt. Tavernier, right, that was a nice spin, running forward now, he's got Aribo ahead of him. Aribo into the penalty area, and just coming across was Evan Ndicka to take it away and get the clearance in for Frankfurt. 0-0.
Really good break for Rangers, lovely play by Wright. Little dummy, 2 players fell for it, got himself a good deal of space, trying to play Aribo in, wasn't quite quick enough there, but the first little sign of panic, I think, from the Eintracht Frankfurt defence there, and it shows you, Aribo's got a bit of pace.
Tavernier on this near side, the right, to take the throw. Gets it back from right, nips in between 2 players, and then hits the cross I think he was worried that his first touch saw it was maybe going to go out of play and behind, and all of a sudden it was a rather hurried cross that he hit from the right and goes out for a throw over on that far side. Still goalless, 4 minutes played.
Yeah, but the way that he got past two players there with such ease. I mean, that's twice within a minute. The defending by the back line of Eintracht Frankfurt was actually, well, I was going to say ordinary. It was worse than that. It was very, very poor. That'll give Rangers a lift.
Goldson hits it high. Tavernier back to Jack. Tavernier lifts it over the head of Indika. No foul, says the Slovenian referee. Lundstrom trying to win the ball back, running into Ruda. There was a high boot there. Oh, and I think he's caught the midfield.
Oh, he certainly has.
There's blood there, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of blood there. I mean, the boot was high. I mean, the referee will have a look at that again. I think he was going for the ball, but it's one of those classic ones. It was a high boot, but also it was a low head. You know, he was going low to get it, so there's certainly plenty of claret there. He's shouting about it. And he's just scraped the top of his head. It's not as if he's put his boot through, but it's definitely scraped the top of his head, and there's a lot of blood there.
Good refereeing actually from Slavko Vincic from Slovenia, because straight away he put out a hand to John Lundstrom, say, I know it wasn't deliberate. So straight away he's eased any fears that Lundstrom might have been sent off through VAR.
You know, it's early days, about 5 minutes into the game, but he's let 3 or 4 things go where a lot of other referees panicked in a big final would say, oh no, I'll get a foul there. You know, they're whistle to their mouth and they're too ready for it. He's not been like that. He's been almost the opposite of that. So he's let it flow again. I'm not sure Roder's delighted by the fact because the blood's flowing from his head, but that could well make it a really open final, and sometimes a referee can actually ruin, you know, the run of a final, the flow of a final. He looks like one that's going to let it go.
It's going to take a while, I think, to patch him up. There's blood on the hands of Sebastian Roeder, the club captain, uncapped for Germany. Of course, he did well with Bayern. He won a couple of titles during his time at Bayern Munich, but he's lying flat on the ground. They're going to have to stem the flow of blood, clean up his hands, and probably put a bandage on the head of Sebastian Roeder in the centre of midfield. Such an influential figure who yesterday at the press conference was saying that this is the highlight of his career, as it will be for so many. And not only is the heat going to be the factor as well, the importance of playing the game rather than the occasion, Pat.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do that. And watching the way that Eintracht Frankfurt started, yeah, they started at 100 miles an hour. The Rangers fans didn't actually look too panicked by that. But may I underline to anyone who's listening, it is a head injury. He has been down for a long time. Don't worry, it's not one of those head injuries. You get a little, you know, a stud that's taken a little bit of skin off, I think, the top of his head there. He's not badly injured, but there is a lot of blood. He's
still going to get treatment, so we'll go to Sixfields. Lee Blakeman.
Still 0-0 on the night, Ian, but Northampton look threatening whenever they get into the final third. Josh Appiah in particular with a couple of good chances to give Northampton the lead. Remember, Mansfield leading 2-1 on aggregate from the first leg on Saturday, but still 0-0 at the moment with 23 played tonight.
And a stoppage for Roeder, still getting treatment. A reminder, tomorrow night we've got more Premier League commentary on 5 Live. Everton against Crystal Palace. We'll keep you up to date with Villa, Burnley and Chelsea, Leicester City. We've got the Scottish Cup final on Saturday at Hampden, Rangers against Hearts, and then on Sunday the final day of the Premier League season, where the title will be decided. Manchester City, Aston Villa on 5 Live, Liverpool, Wolves on Sports Extra, and next season, for the next 3 seasons, 5 Live with more Premier League commentaries than anybody else. But certainly it's going to be an exciting finale to the Premier League campaign. The Champions League final to come, and then we've got the World Cup playoffs and the Nations League. But here we are in Seville. This has been a good 5-minute stoppage for this head injury to Roeder.
Yeah, it's a long one, and as I say, he'll be okay to carry on and play immediately. He's up. It's all about, you know, patching it up, getting the, dare I say it, the Teddy Butcher bandage. I think I do dare say that with the Rangers fans around. And he'll be back on and he'll be absolutely fine, I'm sure of that.
Terry would approve. Bandage on, back to his feet, Sebastian Roeder, and the play about to resume here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Rangers 0. Still those supporters on that far side, about the top 12 rows, are still being bathed in in sunshine. What is it? 9:10. There's going to be some red faces later on tonight, Pat.
Yes, and it won't be embarrassment. Well, it might be, but it's certainly going to be a kind of warm day, but once in a lifetime occasion. I think they'll cope.
The red face of Ruud has been mopped up with the blood from that head injury, and he's now back on the field of play, the captain for Frankfurt, and he gets a nice ovation from their supporters all in white away towards our right-hand side. Lundstrom for Rangers, coming forward, a lot of space to run into, and then hits a long ball away downfield, and then there was a barge in the back by Knauf, surely on Ryan Kent. Referee, though, again lets it go, and the ball is brought away by Knauf on that right-hand side.
Well, I did say I liked the way he's letting things go a wee bit, but if it's a foul, it's a foul, and that looked to make it like a foul, and what would have been a brilliant position for Tavernier to have a dig at goal.
Here is Kent. Challenge comes in from Gibril So, Swiss international, and it's a free kick to Rangers 10 yards forward of the centre circle as they play from left to right, still 0-0.
You know, I have no idea why he didn't give that initial free kick. And considering, if you look back at the West Ham semi-final, the sending off, you know, it was a coming together. I mean, I actually think that was more of a foul.
No attempt to play the ball as the Goldson floats it forward. Knauf with a clearance. Back there helping out was Lundstrom, who's been voted as the Bundesliga Rookie of the Year for 2022. Vital player. Key that he was back in the side after that hamstring injury. Kostic sent clear on this left-hand side, but the Rangers players right, and Tavernier were back there helping out, and then the ball now towards Kamara, runs into space over the halfway line. Challenge then by Toure, keeps the ball in play, brings it forward for the white of Eintracht Frankfurt, chips it long, Lundstrom can't get there, Kamada's into the penalty area, Lundstrom back goal side, Kamada still trying to wriggle his way through, manages to prod something on it, McGregor only partially gets the ball away, and so with a right-footed shot saved by McGregor back in goal.
Complete mess at the back there, nobody seemed to know when to make a tackle. You were talking about nerves before, everyone seemed scared to go in there in case they gave him a penalty kick away. McGregor came out, he couldn't get his paws on it either. A real moment for the Rangers fans who are right behind his goal there. They were all gasping there, they've got away with it. But I'll tell you what, one of the biggest things about this game so far has been the temerity of the defending. It has really surprised me from both sides.
Here is Lundstrom. Right can't control the ball. Goes underneath his right foot and out for a throw. McGregor, who's made some key saves throughout this campaign for Rangers, bearing in mind that this was a European campaign that began on the 3rd of August when they took on Malmo in a Champions League qualifier. So this is the 19th match in Europe for Rangers this season. Lundstrom for Eintracht Frankfurt, right-hand side, shrugged off the ball by Bassi. Too much strength for him. That was a no-nonsense approach. Now Aribo, was he fouled? Yes, he was. On the halfway line, Rangers get a free kick, 0-0.
He's either not very good or an old-school ref. It's one of the two, because he's missing a lot. And he's given kind of random fouls as well. So the players get a little bit angry with that because they think they want to understand where this referee's coming from, and he is letting so much go. But he got that last one right. That was a free kick for Rangers there, but intriguing. The players have tried him out, they've thrown themselves to the ground a couple of times. He's not buying that, is he?
Tavernier, strong run, crosses on the run, header away by Toure, helped further away with another header from So. Borre comes back to help out the Colombian. He wished his Colombian teammate Alfredo Morelos all the best. Of course, he's missing the game with injury, although he was out on the streets of Seville earlier today, taking plenty of selfies, it's got to be said, with the Rangers support. But imagine he wouldn't have got very far when you've got 100,000 Rangers fans in Seville, and everybody who spotted him, word would have quickly got round that Morelos was in town. He would have charged £1 for every selfie. He'd have added to his coffers, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I hope he had the factor 50, because there was no way he was getting back in. Very interesting the way that Eintracht have gone here. They did the same against West Ham right at the start of the game. They tried really hard to give a little bit of pressure first few minutes, particularly the game in Frankfurt, and then they just fall back into a 5-4-1. as if to say, oh right, okay, you can have a little bit of the ball now, you can put us under a little bit of pressure. But I think that's their game plan. They're such a good breaking team, and they want space to break into.
Kamada, Japanese international, plays it back. So quite tall and lean in the midfield, the Swiss international. And then Tuta passes the ball out towards Knauf, has got area to run into on the right-hand side. Kamara's going to go towards him. Knauf delivers a low ball, which Barisic will bring away for Rangers. Barisic stepping out of defence not once but twice, actually closed down Eintracht Frankfurt's attempts to play the ball back to the penalty area as the white flags actually are taking alternate turns here. They're waving the flags in the bottom tier, and then all of a sudden they'll stop, and then the white flags in the top tier.
Where did they get these memos from? Honestly, they all got the memo about the white t-shirts. Every single one of them is wearing it.
Do you know what it says as well, as the ball is played long and it'll go out of play for a goal kick? It says Sevilla with multiple A's at the end, so Sevilla. And then it says Indecem Jahr, which this year.
Very good. It's really intriguing actually to watch the way they have been organising everything. They've been absolutely fantastic. The organisation of this game, but also you have to say the Eintracht fans, you know, they can follow their orders here, can't they?
They certainly can. They're in their third major European final since 1980, when they beat Borussia Mönchengladbach in the 1980 UEFA Cup, a year where actually all four semi-finalists were German. Ball hit forward by Kostic. Kamada thought was knocked off the ball. The referee, though, says play on. And now Borre picks it up on the left-hand side over the halfway line. Kostic in support. Lundstrom comes across to the left as well. Lundstrom on his right foot now, left-hand side of the penalty area. Bassi's gone with him. Cut back, eventually hammered away by Bassi. And up towards Aribo, who's got to run across towards this near side. But there is the casual-looking Oliver Glasner, the Austrian coach for Eintracht Frankfurt, who says, no, it's fine. I'll pick up the ball, I'll be on the ball boy duties with his white pumps, lifts the ball up and is going to hand the ball to Kostic, still goalless.
Great bit of skill though, wasn't it, by Lundstrom? Absolutely fantastic, down there inside the box. Eventually got the cross in there. It wasn't a great cross, but the skill to make the space was, well, it was different class. And when you consider, you know, he's a very, very young man, I think he's a player who's got a big, big future. Kamada
passes the ball out to Knauf, joins the attack, the right wing back, right hand side of the penalty area, blocked by Barisic. Knauf once again picks it up, doesn't stop the ball going out for the throw, plays it in line towards Borre, stands on the ball, loses it, comes away from the penalty area, referee gets in the way. Challenge though was won by Ryan Jack, can't feed it through to Aribo, but he's going to be offside as Wright tried to do exactly that. And there's been a goal at Sixfields. Lee Blakeman.
Mansfield ahead, Northampton 0, Mansfield 1. Controversial because Northampton wanted an offside, it never came. McLaughlin got a tap in front of the away end, 6 yards out, and that gives Mansfield a 2-goal cushion on aggregate. 1-0 up on the night, 3-1 overall.
Thank you, Lee. Still goalless here in Seville between Eintracht Frankfurt and Rangers. Rangers competing in a 5th major European final, as many as every other Scottish club combined. Celtic 3, Dundee United 1, and Aberdeen, the last winners for Scotland back in 1983. Very, very steady pace, hardly surprising given the stifling heat here in Seville, Pat.
I also think that little break we had, a 5-minute break for the head injury, it did change the pace of the game, didn't it? You know, the players slowed it down a little bit and they all kind of settled into what is more of an understandable groove.
Barisic with a cross, Wright was in the penalty area, it was a heavy first touch, headed away by Ruda, headed back by Jack. Aribo tries to help it on, Kamara was there, but so too was So. And then they work the ball out, and now it's picked up by Borre. That was a poor first touch, it allowed Lundstrom just to come across the Rangers player to take away off his toes and restore order for Rangers.
You look at Borre and you think he's one of those centre forwards, you think, look, don't come back, don't try and get involved in the play, just stay between the sticks, mate, because the amount of mistakes, the amount of times he's lost the ball, the amount of times he's been cost in possession so far has been incredible. So I think they could do with him getting between the sticks and getting the ball to him as high up the field as possible.
I started out by saying it was a block of white away towards our right-hand side. There are more and more bare-chested Germans in the front 10 rows of that bottom tier. A bare pit of the ground, and that will be an extremely sweaty section, one would imagine, Pat Nevin.
I think some of those bare chests are... I've had a few beers. Just below the chest is a bit bulbous.
Still 0-0. Lundstrom. Rueda first time ball. Knauf likes to get forward. Barisic backpedals. Knauf enters the penalty area. Knauf with a shot, and McGregor made the save, and a very good save too behind for a corner kick.
Brilliant save, actually. You know, it's what McGregor does. I mean, there are weaknesses in his game. He doesn't come and command his box. However, Knauf has gone inside there. He's caught it really well. Reactions. I mean, if you beat your front post, you'll be disappointed. But you see McGregor, he's actually with his feet on the 6-yard line from a shot that's coming in from like 17 yards. It just shows you how good he is at narrowing down the angles. That's a great save, brilliant position.
The evergreen Alan McGregor, 40 years young. This is pulled back out here, and the first time shot flicked on then. It actually came to Lundstrom, and he looks to the heavens because I don't think he caught it that cleanly. However, it almost presented an opportunity as it was then headed away. I think it was by Ndicka.
It is a great free kick, corner kick. It's exactly what they tried to do. They landed it right at his feet. He couldn't complain about that. He was walking onto it, but you're right, he didn't catch it well. It nearly turned out good for them. The Rangers will not let that one happen again. They fell for that one, hook, line and sinker.
Rangers form away from home. They've had 9 matches in this, in their European campaign. On their travels, they've only had the 1 win. They've got some defending to do here. This is So, who tries to place it outside the D, right-footed. It was always going over the top. It was an impressive win, actually, in Germany against Borussia Dortmund when they won by 4-2 in the last 32. But they've lost 5 and drawn 3 of the other 8 on their travels. Whereas you look at Eintracht Frankfurt, they're unbeaten in the whole competition, and they've scored in all 12 Europa League ties so far, and they are the ones who are creating the chances. Rangers yet to create anything.
Yeah, well, So's had a shot there. Knauf has had a shot as well. We know the quality that Lundstrom's got as well. So you add Kostic's on top of that, you can see where the danger is. In the top half of the field, they're very good. I think they're not quite as good in this, the back of the field, but Rangers at the moment aren't getting enough opportunities. They've had 1 or 2 little opportunities to get towards the byline. They've had 1 shot and goal. But I think they need to grow a little bit more into this game.
Mind you, if you think back to the semi-final, the first leg in Leipzig, Rangers were very solid, very steady in the first half, and then showed a lot more ambition, a bit more adventure in the second half against RB Leipzig, who, let's not forget, finished 4th in the Bundesliga. Borussia Dortmund were runners-up to Bayern Munich. Eintracht Frankfurt, when their campaign closed at the weekend, finished 11th, and they failed to win any of their last 8 games in their domestic season. Rueda back to Ndicka, and Ndicka, because of the presence of Wright midway through the Eintracht Frankfurt half, goes all the way back to goalkeeper trap in an orange goalkeeping outfit. Headed forward by Barisic, strong header back then by Torre, still won't come down. That was backed by a commanding header from Basse. It's like head tennis at the moment between the two, as then Kamara does bring it down under control on the halfway line and back with Rangers, and we've been playing past the midway point, Pat, still 0-0.
Yeah, there are some questions over the quality of some of the players. We have to be honest about that. We give it down to nervousness at the start, but it's more than that. There are a number of players that are playing below their standard. It doesn't matter, it still leaves a lot of tension out there, but you want to see the good technical players of Rangers getting on the ball. At the moment, Kent's had very little of the ball, hasn't he? And we've not been able to get enough of that man Tavernier up the right-hand side. If he gets on the ball in the final third, he can create mayhem there, because I don't think they're good enough defensively. Eintracht Frankfurt. Problem is, can't go on the ball at the moment, can he?
Not at the moment. They're keeping the ball at the back though, Rangers. 23.5 minutes played. Calvin Bassey approaches the halfway line. He tries to get Kent forward now, trying to get in around the back of Knauf. He wrestles the ball away from Knauf. Frankfurt clear. Kamara back for Rangers. Barisic midway through the Frankfurt half. Bassey passes the ball forward then to the Rangers left back, and he plays it back to Bassey. Goldson is also there if required. Ball hit forward, bounces off the chest of Kent midway through the Eintracht Frankfurt half. Very patient play by Rangers. 24 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live. And that was Jack, seeing a lot of the ball without really going anywhere. Goalson, midway through his own half. Tavernier, closed down by Kostic. Ball breaks in favour of Kamada. That was a poor first touch from the Japanese international, and allowed Tavernier to help win it back for Rangers.
Kind of tough for Tavernier because he wants to get the ball high up the pitch, but he's well marked when he's doing that, so he has to make every opportunity. Say maybe run away from the ball, then come back. He'll get himself 10 or 15 yards and he won't be too far back in the field. At the moment he seems a wee bit frustrated, doesn't he, Tavernier?
25 minutes played, he does. I mean, many people talked about that being a real duel. Kostic trying to get forward, Tavernier likewise on the right for Rangers. At the minute we haven't seen much of Kostic in an attacking sense. We've seen more of Knauf as the right wing back on the far side, as Eintracht Frankfurt try and get the ball up towards Boré on the halfway line. He loses it, just wouldn't stick, and Rangers are back in possession. Goldson trying to get Kent round the back of Knauf, but Touré has come across. Kamara, was he tripped? Referee says not. Kent comes in off that left touchline and passes the ball to Goldson. In the centre circle, now in the Eintracht Frankfurt half. Wright makes himself available, darts inside, late challenge. Aribo! Oh, that was a good effort. Again, good refereeing, because he's played the advantage, and Aribo with a curling left foot shot, that was very, very close. But now he's going to take action for the challenge on Wright, because it was fractionally late.
Yeah, I thought that was completely rash. I thought it was a stupid challenge. I was talking to Hutch before the game, and I was saying, I think that guy in Dickens got a mistake in him. I think he's a wee bit rash. That was stupidly rash. There is no need to go in and make that tackle there. Just hold your ground. And he just dives in, makes the tackle. He's got away with just a free kick there. That could have been a yellow card quite easily.
Yeah. We're going to have a drinks break now. It's the protocol, because obviously with the hot temperatures. So we've got a cooling break here, 26 minutes in. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Rangers 0. That left-footed effort though from Aribo, probably only about a foot wide.
Yeah, I mean, well done referee for letting it play on. Can I say, if I'm watching that Frankfurt's team, that's the weaknesses I'm seeing. I'm seeing defenders who, yeah, they're energetic, they look as if they're quite quick. They also look as if they're very, very keen to make a tackle, but they're not making them necessarily all at the right times. So get the ball down and ask them questions, be technically good against them. And Wright's already been thumped there, and I think Kent, when he's on the ball, I think he knows that. I think he gets that too.
Cooling break for the players, cooling break for the commentators. Where's the water as we go to Lee Blakeman at Northampton?
Northampton should be level. Sam Hoskins is just blazed over from 6 yards out, just seconds after Northampton had a really strong appeal for a penalty, waved away for a push. The referee wasn't interested. We've got 2 to go until the break. Mansfield 1 up on the night, 3-1 up on aggregate.
And it's still goalless here as play is about to resume for this first half of the Europa League final on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
I've no complaint whatsoever of them having a cooling break. They had one after 5 minutes as well, didn't they? But it's right to do that. It's just so warm here. It's the end of the season. You're pushing players too hard in these modern times, especially if Rangers had so many games to get to this final. So no problem with the cooling break, but I hope it doesn't stop what Rangers were beginning to bring to the game there. I think they'd had a good 5 minutes there. They were beginning to get the rhythm going. There was a real belief about them. But the last time that happened there, it calmed them down again. Just get going, show belief, and ask questions of that defence.
This is the 64th match of a very long campaign for Rangers, but it could be such a successful one, and what an achievement it would be if they were to get European glory here tonight. That was right in front of the referee. Bassi got away with a push earlier, but that was right in the back of Boré. Gives away a free kick to Eintracht Frankfurt about 6 yards forward of the centre circle as the German supporters jump up and down in unison in their white shirts. But it's still 0-0 as we approach the half hour. Quite a high line from the royal blue of Rangers to protect McGregor in his all-yellow goalkeeping outfit away towards our left-hand side. Good 6 yards outside the penalty area as the free kick is played in now. It's an arcing ball, and in the end it was an awkward one for Bassi running to face his own goal, and as he stumbled, last touch came off the Rangers defender behind for a corner.
I think the referee got that one right, but I also think he guessed. No idea who that came off there. Good ball in, but it's that very, very high line that Rangers were playing from the free kick there. And you start 10 yards outside the 18-yard line. If I'm taking that kick, I'm thinking, great, I've got lots of space to go and find it and whip the ball in.
Corner kick to Eintracht Frankfurt. Far side the right, in it comes now, headed out by Tavernier, played back in by Lundstrom, struck his own player Kamada inside the 6-yard area, and then Rangers are able to get the ball away as we approach the half hour on BBC Radio 5 Live. 0-0 still. So it's a long diagonal ball forward, Barisic's header, and then the effort that is fired in by Kostic, who pops up on the right, just went for goal, and brushed the side netting and out for a goal kick off his left foot.
I think that slightly surprised McGregor in goal there, didn't it? Just because the angle he was at, it was very, very wide. You're talking 30 yards out, but almost at the angle of the penalty box. He's caught it with his left foot, but not clean enough and couldn't keep it down. That little shot there beforehand that had come in, I was trying to see who it was from no, it was Lundstrom, wasn't it?
Yes.
I tell you that had McGregor very worried, because all that he needed was a little deflection and he could have done nothing about it.
Tuta out of defence, gives the ball away. Kamara now for Rangers, challenged by Rueda. There was a foul there by the captain of Eintracht Frankfurt, and Rangers on that left-hand side, about 10 yards in from the touchline, will take their time to allow Barisic to walk up from left-back to take it. Still goalless, 14 minutes to go to half-time. For what Rangers, who have been so good in the Scottish Premiership from set pieces with headed goals from corners, I think probably the highest amount of goals that they've scored in the Scottish Premiership. But Eintracht Frankfurt have got that line outside the penalty area to protect the goalkeeper trap. In it comes now, and Dicker heads it away. It's going to fall to Tavernier, heads it out towards this side. Interception though by Kostic, who now races forward. He's got Rueda up with him, but Kostic will go. He's carried the ball a long ways into the penalty area, and then he shoots. Well, we know that his nickname was Horse Lungs. It was Fjärdlunga, and he certainly had the lungs bursting as he picked the ball up on the edge of his area, and he only had one thing on mind, but it was never going to trouble McGregor.
Well, it was almost 18-yard line to 18-yard line, wasn't it? And they weren't catching him. Problem is, neither were his teammates. So far ahead of him, he had to have a shot there. It was an incredibly tight angle, and it's going to have to be something extra special to beat McGregor, because he's such a good shot stopper there. So a good break, and that's what Eintracht are very, very good at. That time, I don't think they made the best of it.
I hope the cracking atmosphere is coming through to the radio back home here on BBC Radio 5 Live. The Eintracht Frankfurt supporters in great voice. We've just had the thunderclap from Rangers, who are now bouncing up and down. A lot of their supporters are bare-chested as well, and that mass of blue away towards our left-hand side. 2/3 of the ground, we reckon, for Rangers here inside Seville, the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. And they're making all the noise at the moment too here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Here is right for Rangers. Tavernier, midway through the Eintracht Frankfurt half. Aribo is being tightly marked. Ball goes out of play. It'll be a Rangers throw. Got to say though, the segregation is wafer thin. Yeah. I mean, you're looking at just a line of stewards in either their yellow or orange luminous jackets, and that's it. So
the lovely thing though, Ian, it doesn't seem to have been broken. There doesn't seem to be any bad feeling there. And I do see at the moment, it does seem as if both sets of fans are just intent in supporting the team inside the stadium.
Kostic dragged back by the run of Tavernier, and as he tries to get on the end, as he leaps in the air for the aerial duel, it drops out of play for a throw, level with the penalty area right-hand side. Tavernier back then to Jack. Every outfield player is in the Eintracht Frankfurt half, away towards our right-hand side. Bassi, Kamara playing it out to Barisic, the left-back, midway through the Frankfurt half, and Kamara will get a throw for Rangers about 10 yards up from the corner flag over on that far side, as Rangers, not much movement with 11 minutes to go to half-time. But they're kept on going by this incredible support. Rueda losing out to Lundstrom. Cleared only as far as right. Tavernier waited for the ball to reach him rather than stepping into it, and as a result he lost it. And Eintracht Frankfurt can clear. And Dicker to Kostic near side, lifts it back to one of the three central defenders. Jack will put him under pressure, charges him down, strikes his hand, and then Ndicka actually runs the ball behind, and it's a corner kick.
Well, I just mentioned early on before the game that I wasn't impressed with Ndicka. Well, I wasn't impressed before, but I'm less impressed now.
Made by BBC Sports for BBC Sounds. The Sports Desk.
I'm Sarah Mulcairns.
I'm Dan Rowan.
And I'm Nesta McGregor.
And we present The Sports Desk, the weekly podcast that explores the biggest news stories in sport and the human issues behind them. So far, we have covered the future of sport in Afghanistan and super shoes in athletics.
An Olympics like no other, recorded on location in Tokyo, and COVID vaccine hesitancy among sports stars.
The secrets of the age-defying athlete, Tom Brady and Cristiano Ronaldo. And we asked, did Simone Biles change the game on mental health?
That is The Sports Desk on BBC Sounds. Hit subscribe and a new episode will appear every Friday.
The Sports Desk from BBC Sports.
Available now on BBC Sounds. Now, back to your podcast.
Defensively, they get themselves into such terrible positions. They're just not natural defenders at the back there. And you see that, and if you're a quality player, you should be able to take advantage of it. And I'm sure Kent is desperate for the ball. 1-on-1 with any of those defenders, and I think that's why you're seeing the frustration at Tavernier. He can see it too.
Free kick to Rangers on the left, about a few yards in from the touchline, 12 yards up from the byline. Aribo's there, Wright is in there, Lundstrom, Golson's up from the back, Kamara's in there, floated over now, Lundstrom with a header and tipped over by the goalkeeper Kevin Trapp, behind for a corner kick.
Do you know what? That's a clean header there. He's not got it strong enough. He could have done a lot better. Maybe part of the problem was there wasn't a huge amount of pace in the ball there, but he gets it on target, he makes the keeper make a save. I don't think they look good from centre, from corners and free kicks as well. Need a little bit better from Tavernier here.
Corner kick, Tavernier to take it, and Dicker attacks it, heads the ball away for Eintracht Frankfurt. 8 minutes to go to half-time in this Europa League final, live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Played forward then by Jack. Tavernier is forward. He's done well actually to keep the ball in play. Kostic in the tussle, and then Tavernier is adjudged to have fouled Kostic, and that'll be a free kick to Eintracht Frankfurt. They've got a little ditty, haven't they, the Rangers supporters, for John Lundstrom. It's the Belinda Carlisle number. Had he scored with that, that would have been reverberating around this stadium, wouldn't it?
Well, I'll let you have a little try to yourself if you want just now.
No.
But honest, well, I'm very impressed with you so far, because we've got a Lundstrom and a Lundstrom. We've got a Kamara. And we've also got a Kamada. So you're doing well.
You have the eclectic musical taste, so you might be able to trot out a ditty of Belinda Carlisle.
You're not tempting me.
Although I suspect you probably haven't got any one of her songs in your vast record collection.
She was in the Go-Go's, and I have got Go-Go stuff.
6 minutes to go to half-time. Pat Nevin is with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Frankfurt 0, Rangers 0. Trapp rolls the ball out of his penalty area, right-footed. Barisic then heads it away, midway through his own half. I don't know where that breeze is coming from, but I've got to say it's most welcome for what has been a breathless night here in Seville. Free kick to Rangers. Contributing factor, isn't it, the heat, with the tempo of the game.
But it isn't quite as steamy as it's been in other nights. This is unexpected because there's a little bit of cloud, high cloud cover there. It's still a hot night, but it's not been the way the others have been. And I think the players will be delighted. A few of the fans and one or two of the commentators will be delighted as well. But just this last 10 minutes or so, I wouldn't go so fast as Rangers have turned the screw, but Rangers are the better side now. And I don't think I would have said that for the first 25 minutes, but they've grown into the game and they look much more comfortable and confident now.
Here is Wright, goes on the outside of Tuta, and Decker with the block cross, but Wright tries to get there before Tuta. They've doubled up on him now. Kostic is back there helping out. Wright actually did well. He was pinned in towards the corner, and he's won a throw, I think, right down by the corner flag. But Tavernier is going to take. Wright's also there. Lundstrom too. Back it goes to Lundstrom. Little ball inside. Dinked into the path of Jack, who was under pressure from So. And then Goldson back into the centre circle from Bassi. Back to his central defensive partner. The two exchange passes once more. 5 minutes to go to half-time on BBC Radio 5 Live. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Rangers 0. And then McGregor playing the ball forward to Goldson at a walking pace here with Rangers.
The difference is they're comfortable enough to do that, Rangers. They can, if they need to, play out from the back and pass through the midfield. Tell you what, I wouldn't want, if I was an Eintracht Frankfurt fan, I wouldn't want to be doing that. I wouldn't want to be taking a chance for their players, because on the ball they've not been good enough. And again, it's that missing of Hinteregger back there, and you can see it affecting the entire team. And now Rangers are they're piling on. They're getting good comfort in the right hand side and the left hand side, and I think they're getting a little bit of panic from the Eintracht Frankfurt defence.
Tavernier has just been fouled. It's a free kick to Rangers, growing in confidence towards the end of this first half that remains goalless. The referee, Mr. Vincic, wants the ball in exactly the correct spot. So Tavernier is going to take it. What an incredible season he's had. Top scorer in the Europa League with 18 goals. His entire tally for Rangers in this campaign. Great delivery too. In it comes now, right-footed. There's plenty of swing on that, just over the head of Lundstrom, and it's just tied up and touched out of play for a throw that Rangers will take quickly with Kent. Back then with Jack. Jack now to Goldson. Eintracht Frankfurt being forced back by Rangers, who are dominating and seeing a lot of the ball. Jack turns left of the centre circle, out to Barisic. Barisic waits, plays the ball inside, popped up by Aribo, away from Kamara, but it comes back towards Kamara as he runs out towards the left. Barisic keeps the ball in play, back towards the half-time, at the halfway line finds Bassi. Now with Goldson in the centre circle, across to Lundstrom on this near side, forward to Tavernier. Rangers keeping the ball very, very well.
You can feel it, can't you? The Rangers, you absolutely can feel it. That actually, we've got it. We know what we're doing here. We can hold the ball much better than the opposition. You see Jack's beginning to get much more involved in the play now. He's moved a little more centrally defensively, and he's been able to, give a bit of tempo to that midfield, and he passes it well, he controls the area well, and that's helped Rangers in this position just now. So a real lift and a real lightness to Rangers play at the moment.
Well, bearing in mind that there's 3 minutes of normal time, but I would say there's going to be at least 5 minutes, maybe even more, of added on time. So if Rangers can keep this assured passage of play going, as they were looking for a foul for a challenge on Aribo that's not given by the Slovenian referee, then you never know, they might be able to fashion a chance before half-time. Certainly the coach of Eintracht Frankfurt, Oliver Glasner, yesterday was extremely complimentary. He said Rangers are a mixture of Barcelona and West Ham, with a Dutch influence and the British mentality. That's how he referred to Rangers yesterday.
I think they'll take that every day of the week. No, it's you play mind games before major competitions like this, but it's a decent description. I'm not saying they're as good as Barcelona, but they do want to play football from the back. And now we've got it right in front of us here. The goalkeeper is now playing a shot. That's the first shot, free kick or goal kick they've taken, and then they'll launch it. They won't play it out for the back. That's not them. That's not what Eintracht Frankfurt do. But Rangers can play out from the back.
Lindstrom just tried to play the ball out to the left for Kostic, but it was intercepted by Tavernier, who's now pulled Lindstrom back, who's certainly made the most of it. The referee's played the advantage again. Inside now by Kostic. Kamara lets it come across his body, pushes the ball out towards the right, forces Knauf out a little bit wider than he would have wanted. That was blocked then by Barisic, and it goes out of play for a corner kick to Eintracht Frankfurt. This really, by the letter of the law, should be a yellow card to Tavernier. But the referee's being very, very lenient.
There should be 2 yellow cards so far in this game. There should be one for Frankfurt, and there should definitely be one on this occasion there. I mean, it's not even close to Tavernier. That is a yellow card all day long. I mean, I understand referees, it's a final, they don't want to ruin it, all that sort of stuff, but the rules is the rules, and he's not using them.
Eintracht Frankfurt have a corner kick, right-hand side. It's an in-swinger. Break now maybe on as Rangers clear, but there was Lundstrom back there to curb the run of Kent, back towards his goalkeeper, who comes midway through his own half, all in orange, and now to Gibril So. Ruda just outside the centre circle, passes the ball along the ground out towards the right-hand side. Torre's forward ball. Eintracht Frankfurt now, the Japanese international Kamada, able to turn. No challenge to Kamada as he passes the ball towards Torre, back into Kamada and into the inside right channel of the penalty area. It reaches the feet of the Rangers goalkeeper, Alan McGregor. As the Rangers fans find their voices once more, Pat Nevin.
And they've got the belief, they know it, they can feel it. I mean, they've watched their team often enough, and they know their team are growing into this. At this point, I'm reminded of talking to Davy Moyes before the second leg of the semi-final, and even though they were a goal down, getting into that, and talking to him thinking, you confident, you believe you can do this. And I think they would have done it had they not had a sending off against them early on in the game. And that's because there are so many weaknesses in this Frankfurt team. They're not terrible, but Rangers must believe. They really look as if they're believing themselves. And by the way, they should have got a free kick there. Referee's missed another absolute clear free kick there.
6 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and it's still 0-0. Barisic. More Premier League action tomorrow night on 5 Live, and the exciting title race reaches its climax on Sunday. Both games will be live on 5 Live. Manchester City with John Murray on 5 Live, Liverpool on Sports Extra, but of course we do have the ability to switch. So that's to look forward to at the weekend, after of course the Scottish Cup final at Hampden on Saturday afternoon, as here in this Europa League final, in the 6 minutes of added on time, it's headed away, headed forward then by Jack. Torre volleys the ball clear for Eintracht Frankfurt. Aribo stretching to try and bring the ball under control, does well, trying to get away from Ndika. Prods the ball forward towards Kent, right corner of the penalty area, back out towards Aribo. Aribo down towards the byline, pulls it back, Kent lets it run through. Jack with a shot, always on the rise off his right foot, and out for a goal kick, and it's still goalless.
What a shame there, because they played the ball so well up the right-hand side. And you can see the real arrogance and cockiness from those players. And Rangers now, they're going forward thinking, yeah, give me the ball on the floor, we'll take on these defenders. They played the ball in a really good area. Now, it's not an easy position to score a goal, but he knows he should have, Granjak should have got that on target. If you get that ball low and on target, there's every chance that we get a deflection, but it just underlines, slowly but surely, Rangers are getting to be the better team here. However, they have to be aware this is a team that can break well, and they're breaking now.
And it's Lundstrom, right corner of the area with a cross. Kamada on the stretch, brushes his dark hair, comes out towards Kostic on the left-hand side, delivers the cross, and cleared easily by Lundstrom at the near side of the 6-yard box and out for a throw.
His quality's good, isn't it? Kostic, he just goes down that left-hand side. He doesn't think twice, he just gets half a yard and he zipped one in. And well done, the Rangers centre-backs have dealt with it so far.
Here is Boré, the Colombian forward. Well marshalled by Tavernier. Back it goes on this touchline. Kostic to So, and now into the centre circle for the Brazilian international defender Tuta, 22 years of age. So forward, Ruda in the centre circle, passing the ball out now towards Knauf, coming in off that right touchline. Ruda joins the attack, Kamada makes a run ahead of him. Knauf will go it alone. Good block though by Barisic, helped out by Bassi. Barisic now brings the ball clear. They dealt with that threat very, very well on the Rangers' left side of defence. Tuta steps forward. Stoppage time in the first half. Eintracht Frankfurt with 3 minutes of remaining of the minimum of 6. Now Ruda, the captain for Frankfurt. The bandaged head after that blow earlier from the boot of Lundstrom. Rangers, though, get a free kick inside their own half for a foul on Kamara. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
It's just a big sigh from the massed ranks of Rangers fans behind that goal there. The ball was played out to Aribo. Now, he was actually second favourite to get it, but he didn't make an effort for it, and it's imperative that he makes an effort for that. If he can make that ball stick, the entire Rangers playing team can get out, and I think it can be very dangerous there. But Aribo, he's up there in zone a lot of time. It's a tough job, and it's a tough job in a night like tonight.
Closing in on the half-time whistle on BBC Radio 5 Live. McGregor with a free kick for Rangers. Aribo directs his header out towards Kent. It's over the head though of Ryan Kent and out for a throw to the German side, who created a number of chances earlier in the game. McGregor making that very good save to his left from Knauf. So with a curling effort, Rangers though too have had opportunities in this first half, as Ndicka floats the ball forward towards Kostic, lets it drop over his right shoulder, also invites the challenge from Tavernier to head it out of play for a throw to the German side. Down towards Borre, left-hand side, Golson blocks the cross behind for a corner to Eintracht Frankfurt.
It's well defended again. They do very well getting into wide areas, and they have got Kostic who's very good at crossing the ball from the left-hand side, and they're not bad with Knauf on the right-hand side as well. But those Rangers defenders so far have done very, very good of defending those crosses.
In comes the corner kick. It's an outswinger from the left, headed out, picked up on the 25 yards out. Knauf has lost the ball to Kent. Potential break on for Rangers, but it was Lundstrom, actually the midfielder, on the halfway line who curbed any counter-attack. It wasn't the best of balls, was it?
Yeah, but he's done that a few times, hasn't he, Lundstrom? You think of him as a more forward-type player who's creative, but he gets back there and covers areas and does it intelligently.
Lundstrom now with a diagonal ball towards Borre. Dealt with in the air, though, by Golson. Aribo back there helping out, and then Tavernier drives the ball away downfield. Right, giving chase, one bounce, and just coming across to deal with it was Knauf, who sliced it and out for a Rangers throw.
Do you know what? Just when it goes onto that back line there, you think, well, Rangers are going to get the ball back. It's just a matter how they're going to get the ball back. There's not one of that back line looks comfortable when he's got a ball at his feet.
Tavernier with the throw. There can't be much time left of the 6 minutes of stoppage time that we're into here on BBC Radio 5 Live. In a sultry Seville, 0-0 it remains. And there, in fact, no, there is the half-time whistle from Slavko Vincic. A goalless first half between Eintracht Frankfurt and Rangers. Frankfurt created the better opportunities, but Rangers grew into the game, and towards the last 15-20 minutes you had Aribo going close with a curling effort and trapped with a one-handed save from Lundstrom's header. Pat Nevin.
If you're walking in just now, and if you're Glasner or if Brian Bronckhorst, I think Frank Bronckhorst is much the happier manager just now. His team has grown into it, as you say there. They look confident when they're on the ball. When they get up against 1-on-1 in the final third, it's not happening often enough, but when they do, they look really confident. They look as if they can go by players. I think there's a panicked defensive mistake in just about all of the back three from Eintracht Frankfurt, but you've got to keep asking them the questions. And at the moment it's 0-0. Limitations in the quality of this game, I'll be honest with you, but it's a cup final, that sometimes happens. If we get a goal, this could really open up to be a cracker.
But it's tight on a sticky night in Seville. Half-time, Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Rangers 0. Kelly.
Pat, you said it's been it's quite a cagey first half. There haven't been really any opportunities. Expected goals for both sides are below 0.5. It's not been, an end-to-end kind of game. I mean, obviously the conditions, it's hot, it's humid, will have a big part in that. Has there been, particularly in the early stages, a tension as well?
Yeah, there definitely was a nervousness. Now, to be honest, when I was talking about the Eintracht defenders, I thought it was nervousness at the start. I don't think it is anymore. I just don't think they're very good in the ball. So I'm going to find out if you can get more out of them. But I think certainly at Rangers, I think it was affecting them right at the start of the game. But now, 25, 30 minutes in, they started thinking, no, actually, we're okay here. We can play it out from the back. And I think when Ryan Kent was, he was getting on the ball now and again. And you look at Ryan Jack, he was playing a little bit more central. When he was central, he started controlling parts of the game. And I know that Roeder can do that to some degree. I think Kent's better at it. So all areas of the field I'm looking at just now, I'm thinking, you can damage, Tavernier. If you get 1-on-1 at any point at all against that defence, be it Ndicka, be it Kostic, you'll destroy them. You will do. He's not had it enough. And if you've got that belief in various areas, you've got a chance of winning the European trophy. And Rangers got a chance of winning the European trophy. Make no mistake about that tonight.
I've heard you talk about the referee as well in terms of his his leniency in this game. There's a lot of talk about Lundstrom's challenge on Roda for that high foot, and Roda was bleeding from the head after that. Tom said, I don't think Lundstrom should have been given a red, but baffling he's not been booked. Graham says Lundstrom lucky to still be on the pitch. Phil said, worst refereeing decision I've ever seen, 100% red card. Obviously, the injury to Roda will contribute to the decision afterwards. As far as the challenge goes, do you think it was punishable by either a yellow or a red card?
Never in a month of Sundays is that a red card. Never. He's going for the ball and he's clipped the side of his head, and because there's a lot of blood, it looks terrible. Have a look at the player's reaction. Just look at the player's reaction after it. They know, they understand. These things can happen in a game. It's not a vicious challenge where you're putting your studs up there to hurt somebody, and it's not ridiculously reckless. A push and another referee, maybe a yellow, yeah, shrug your shoulders and get on with it, but never a red, no chance.
Don Hutchison also with us. What do you think, Don?
Of the tackle, never a red card in a million years, but I thought Rangers looked a tad nervy first 15 minutes of the game. I think there's so many problems, I think, for Van Bronckhorst to fix. I think the first one at half-time will be to tell his players and breathe. Because I think that first 45 would have went so quickly for them. Aribo needs to start getting hold of the ball. Someone in the middle of the park for Rangers needs to spend more time on the ball instead of just going long. And try and get the ball to Ryan Kent. When he's had it to his feet, he's looked dangerous, same as Scott Wright. But they need better service. They need to breathe. They need to calm down.
They need to calm down, and potentially they can make a change. They can bring Kamar Roof on. How long are you waiting to see when he can come on and make an impact?
I think the manager will leave it 20 minutes. I think that's norm. I think just after the hour mark, I think he'll give his message. He'll give his players instructions at half time to get them to calm down and to spend more time on the ball and just relax a little bit. And he might just say, well, listen, people might have been fearing, the Rangers players might have been fearing the Eintracht side. Well, sometimes you've got to problem solve in a game. It'll take Rangers 45 minutes just to go in at half time and gather their thoughts and think, hang on a minute, we're in a cup final. We are as good as Eintracht, if not better, but they're not producing it so far. Eintracht have had the better chances. In fact, they look really, really good. But that's been Rangers' deficiencies on the ball.
We'll be back to Seville for the second half of Rangers against Frankfurt. No goals as yet in the Europa League final, but we're hoping for them in the second half. Coming up next, though, it's the BBC News headlines with Aaron Paul.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Kelly. The Chancellor Rishi Sunak will tell business leaders this evening that easing the cost of living for families will not be easy after inflation reached a 40-year high. The main measure, the Consumer Price Index, rose by 9% in the year to April, mostly driven by soaring energy costs. In a speech to CBI in London, Mr Sunak will say the next few months will be tough. James Smith is from the Resolution Foundation, a think tank that focuses on people on lower incomes. He says raising benefits is the easiest way to help.
It hits those on the lowest incomes much, much harder. And that's where action is really needed. We're already starting to see people cutting back on their fuel use, cutting back on essentials, and even borrowing to make ends meet. So what we really need to see is action from the Chancellor. The biggest thing he can do is just bring forward benefits uprating.
A Russian soldier has pleaded guilty to killing a 62-year-old civilian in the first war crimes trial in Ukraine since the start of the invasion. It's expected that Vadim Shishimarin, who's 21, will be jailed for life. Health officials say 2 more cases of monkeypox, a rare viral infection, have been identified in London and the southeast of England. It brings the total number of cases found in the UK since the 6th of May to 9. And finally, a rare 18th century Chinese vase bought in the 1980s and kept in a kitchen has sold at auction for nearly £1.5 million. A surgeon in England paid a few £100s for the masterwork and passed it on to his son without realising its true value. The vase, which is glazed blue and decorated with bats and cranes, was sold to an international buyer.
Made by BBC Sport for BBC Sounds. The Sports Desk.
I'm Sarah Mulcairns.
I'm Dan Rowan. And I'm Nesta McGregor.
And we present the Sports Desk, the weekly podcast that explores the biggest news stories in sport and the human issues behind them. So far, we have covered the future of sport in Afghanistan and super shoes in athletics.
An Olympics like no other recorded on location in Tokyo, and COVID vaccine hesitancy among sports stars.
The secrets of the age-defying athlete, Tom Brady and Cristiano Ronaldo. And we asked, did Simone Biles changed the game on mental health.
That is the Sports Desk on BBC Sounds. Hit subscribe and a new episode will appear every Friday.
The Sports Desk from BBC Sports.
Available now on BBC Sounds.
Now, back to your podcast.
This is 5 Live Sport with Kelly Cates.
And we will be back to Seville very shortly for the second half of Rangers against Frankfurt in the Europa League final. It's 0-0 at half-time. There's also a League Two playoff semi-finals, second leg taking place at Sixfields. It's Northampton against Mansfield Town. And Lee Blakeman is watching.
It is Northampton 0, Mansfield 1 with 56 minutes on the clock. A Stephen McLaughlin tap-in is the difference. A goal that sent the away fans down that end, Kelly. Absolutely crazy, by the way. Northampton feel really hard done to. They thought that goal was offside. I've seen it back. It wasn't. And they think they should have had a couple of penalties as well. Neither have been given. Mansfield leading here 1-0, 3-1 overall. And as things stand, are heading to Wembley to play either Swindon Town or Port Vale. Northampton need to score twice in the final, just over half an hour to take this one to extra time.
Lee, thank you very much for that. It's also been a busy week for the England's men's cricket team. Brendan McCullum is the new coach of the Test team. ECB Chief Executive Tom Harrison has stepped down from the role. Women's Director Claire Connor takes over as interim CEO. And all of that happened before today. The men's Test squad was announced ahead of the first Test against New Zealand. We're joined now by the BBC Chief Cricket Writer Stefan Schemmelt. So, Stefan, you were at the press conference when Rob Key confirmed the 13-man squad. What do you see as the main headlines?
Yeah, hi, Kelly. Inevitably, everyone's talking about the return of James Anderson and Stuart Broad, those great fast bowlers who are left out of the tour of the West Indies in March. They're always likely to come back for this New Zealand series. Ben Stokes, the new captain, he praised them in public. England have got a lot of injuries in that fast bowling department. And even at 39 and 35 years old, they remain the premier fast bowlers in home conditions. There are first call-ups for Harry Brook, the Yorkshire batter, and Matty Potts. He's a fast bowler from Durham. Both of those are 23 years old. They've been in brilliant domestic form. But perhaps the most intriguing move is a reshuffle in the batting order. Ollie Pope's going to get the chance to relaunch his Test career, but he'll have to do it from number 3, and that's a spot he's never occupied in first-class cricket before.
Stefan, they've also, as we've mentioned, so many changes behind the scenes at the ECB. Does that affect expectations for the year? Will patience be required, or will instant results be demanded?
I think if we're talking specifically about the Test team, then patience, I think, will be required. We've got the new coach in McCullum, captain in Stokes, the managing director in Rob Key. They've all been really impressive. They've said the right things. But they aren't miracle workers. They can't come in and make sweeping changes to the personnel. We've seen that in the squad that's been picked. England haven't got a transfer window where they can go and find some new batters and bowlers. They've got what they've got. So McCullum, Stokes, they've got to make these players better. They've got to change their approach and their attitude, and that will take some time. And when you think of the opponents that are upcoming as well, New Zealand are the world champions. They've got that rescheduled Test match against a powerful India team. South Africa come later in the summer. They're improving really quickly. There's a tough winter. And if you can believe this, it's the Ashes again next summer.
I've lost all track of time, I'll be honest with you, Stefan. But away from the Test side, the white ball team will also have a brand new coach. So that's going to be the England women's coach, Matthew Mott. Tell us more about that one.
Yeah, it's quite an astute appointment, I think. He's an Australian. He's made the Australia women's team probably the strongest international sports team on the planet. He's got a good relationship with McCullum. That's going to be important, as England have split the coaches and maybe they're going to have to share players from time to time. And for all the talk of the Test side, there's a T20 World Cup later this year. Then England defend their 50-over title in India next year. Matthew Mott, he's going to have a big job on his hands as well.
Stefan, thank you very much for that. You can hear commentary of the first Test on Test Match Special on 5 Sports Extra. That's from 10:25 on Thursday, the 2nd of June. And there'll also be video clips on the BBC Sport website and app, plus a full highlight show today at the Test on BBC Two and the BBC iPlayer. That's all still to come, but tonight it's all about the Europa League final between Rangers and Frankfurt. No goals in the first half. Don Hutchison is with us. Don, as you said, Giovanni van Bronckhorst will go into that dressing room at half-time and say to the Rangers players, just breathe. You've got through the first 45 minutes. You've got through these conditions. It is hot. It is humid. Do the players need to have patience in that game?
Yeah, that'll be the message. When you're playing this sort of game, Kelly, it takes you a little while just to sort of gather your thoughts and problem solve. And you look at the opposition, you try and work out their strengths and weaknesses, and you win your 1v1 battles. Everyone talks about 11v11, but in games like this, it's a 1v1. So they'll be confident that they can play better. I think Van Bronckhorst will look around the substitutes for Rangers and think, well, if needed, we've got experience like Aaron Ramsey, we've got Stephen Davis, Scott Arfield, Danny DaCosta's their main weapon if Oliver Glasner wants to go to the bench. But I think it's more so Rangers feeling comfortable in their surroundings than the first 45 where it was a little bit hectic.
Yeah, and hectic without really creating much of a threat in front of goal. How do they improve on that?
Well, you just got to find a little bit of calm, and you'll give messages to people like James Tavernier and say, listen, you're a good player, do what you're good at, make sure you get your distances right. I think off the ball, my takeaway from Rangers in that first 45, off the ball, I felt as though all the distances were just off, where that tells me Rangers are a little bit cagey. Now, when you're at it, you can step onto people and your distances are like 1 and 2 yards where you can close people down. When it's cagey, when it's a final, you give yourself 5 or 10 yards, and that's an awful lot of room. Then you've got to close people down. The distances then are too big. So be brave. That'll be the message from Broncos. Be brave. Step onto Eintracht. When you get the ball, be brave. Get on it. They've looked good in possession, but find 1 or 2 weaknesses. At the back three for Eintracht are not the best. That's their weakness, and you've got to try and expose that.
Pat Nevin is in Seville for us. Pat, can Rangers take more risks in the second half?
I honestly think, don't I slightly disagree with it. I actually think the last 15 minutes or so, Rangers began to get that confidence that Don's asking for there. Definitely the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, totally agree. They looked nervy, they looked unsure of themselves, they weren't playing the way Rangers can play. But slowly but surely, I started looking around the players, and it was almost like they were looking at each other saying, is that all they've got? and I think the confidence started to grow, and maybe it's not that obvious, but some of the off the play stuff, I was looking around at them, and there's a real belief beginning to grow. Now, whether that carries on the second half and whether Van Bronckhorst can get that across, I'm not sure, but I think he will. I think the players have looked into the eyes of, and I agree with Don there completely, the defence, that defence just don't want to play football. They just want to launch it. They just want to get rid of the ball as soon as they can, and also the lunge into tackles. So all in all, Rangers go in, okay, they didn't have the same chances, but they've finished that half better than Eintracht, and if they come out the same way in the second half and create a little bit of quality up front, and yes, I agree with that completely, Don, they've got every chance of winning this tournament.
Don, still going for Rangers in this one?
Absolutely. I'm not going to back them now. More from Rangers in the second half. Be more confident.
Don, you've changed my mind too.
Thank you very much to Don Hutchison. We're going to hand back now to Seville for the second half of Rangers against Frankfurt. It's the Europa League final. No goals as yet. They'll be hoping for goals in the second half. Certainly any Rangers fans listening to this one will be hoping that their side can lift their first European trophy in 50 years. With you for the second half, Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Kelly. I can tell you as well that Rangers are first out in the all-royal blue, and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has not made any changes, so McGregor is in goal. It's a defence of Tavernier, Goldson, Bassi and Barisic, and then you've got Lundstrom, Jack and Kamara in the midfield with Wright, Aribo and Ryan Kent. They were given that boost that Kemar Roof has recovered from a knee injury, so he is amongst the substitutes, along with the experience of Aaron Ramsey, Steve Davis, as well as Arfield on there as well. They've got the youngster Diallo, who will be looking to maybe try and make an impression on loan from Manchester United, maybe. As Eintracht Frankfurt's players are just gathering down in the bowels of the stadium here in the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, as now they come out, and we'll see whether Olivier Glasner has made any changes, as I'm sure the Eintracht Frankfurt supporters, with their flags poised, are going to give them a similar welcome that greeted them for the first half as they came out up the steps here in the stadium.
They've not really ran up the steps, have they? They look like a team that are not desperate to rush out onto the field. It's a kind of very languid look. That's why their coach is out there saying, right, okay, a little bit of, as we call them in the game, doggies running between two spots to get themselves livened, but they looked a leggy group, didn't they?
Yeah. And The lethargic response from the players was actually matched by the Eintracht Frankfurt players. They've raised their flags, but they actually haven't waved the flags at the minute as just... oh, hold on, maybe they're trying to produce something because the flares are now being lit. There's a number of flares now being lit in the bottom tier of that block of white where the Eintracht Frankfurt supporters are housed here inside the stadium. I'll give you the team anyway for Eintracht Frankfurt. Kevin Trapp is in goal, a back four of Ndicka, Tuta and Torre, Knauf and Kostic are the wing-backs right and left respectively. Rueda, So, Kamada, Lundstrom and Borre, and they were waiting for the flares. It was choreographed, and now they are waving as the smoke rises in the air, and Rangers get this second half underway of this Europa League final live here in Seville on BBC Radio 5 Live, also available through the BBC Sounds app. So neither side making a change as Barisic comes under pressure early on to head the ball away midway through his own half, and as the smoke drifts into the air in this night right in the heart of Seville, that's the end that Eintracht Frankfurt are attacking. Knauf, Rueda brings the ball forward, lifts it towards Borre. Golson though heads it away, and then the header back by Lundstrom for Rangers, and Barisic can't keep the ball in play, and it will be an Eintracht Frankfurt throw on this near side the right as they play in all white from left to right as we look. And now Rueda finds some space, invites Knauf, cross charge down behind for a corner kick to Eintracht Frankfurt.
Well, that's the best move that Eintracht Frankfurt have had for about 25 minutes. I mean, I thought the second part of the first half wasn't great, but they started the way they started the first half. They like it on the front foot right at the start, but they don't seem to be able to keep it up. They want to score an early goal at the start of the half while they've got the energy.
Tuta is up from the back, Torre's in there as well. In comes the corner kick, easily headed away by Lundstrom for Rangers. Every Royal Blue shirt was back there on defensive duties, as So on the halfway line, being pursued by Kent. Goes all the way back to Kevin Trapp, the German international goalkeeper. And now So, a Swiss international, looks for Kostic on that far side. Tavernier didn't deal with it the first time. As he stumbles a little bit, he's cleared it out of play for a throw on the left for the German side. Ball played up and away by Jack, but goes straight towards Tuta, who's able to stride forward and tries one from long range. Must have been a good 35 yards out with his daisy cutter, and his right-footed effort bounced wide of McGregor's dive towards his right.
Yeah, well, McGregor's got his arms out there saying, what are you letting him go through there for? I mean, he's gone past 2 or 3 players. He is about 40 yards out. And to be fair, I can't ever remember seeing McGregor get beat from 40 yards. Maybe it's happened before, but no, he was in control of that totally.
McGregor, who's the oldest player to play in a final in either the UEFA Cup or the guise of the Europa League, and he'll be hoping to change that to a statistic that says he is the oldest winner of this competition. 0-0. The last 10 years have been dominated by Spanish and English sides, as Kamada enters the penalty area and the ball is pulled back, and Lundstrom's shot takes a deflection, and McGregor was flat-footed, and Borre whips up the German crowd as that right-footed shot could have gone anywhere, and thankfully from a Rangers point of view it went behind for a corner kick, because McGregor would have been struggling.
Yeah, that's the closest they've come to a goal all night long, and McGregor was beaten there, and they have started very fast, Frankfurt.
In comes the corner kick from that far side, good header out by Tavernier under pressure. Won back though by Knauf. Eintracht Frankfurt, they enter the penalty area, cross comes in, Rangers under pressure. Tavernier with a clearance at his near post. The Eintracht Frankfurt supporters urge their team on as they attack that end of the ground. Still 0-0 on 5 Live, 3.5 minutes into the second half. Here is Tuta outside the centre circle. Now it's with Ndicka. Rangers have everybody back inside their own half. Eintracht Frankfurt seeing a lot of the ball. Here is Rueda. Ball played up to Kostic, plays it forward. Kamada's made the run, flags up, free kick to Rangers. Yeah, this is the first final without a Spanish or an English side since 2011, when Porto beat Braga 1-0 in Dublin.
Do you know, it's incredible. The Spanish have been fantastic. Portuguese have had a good period as well. But look at the way their second half has started. Do you know that lethargy you were talking about, and we were talking about the way they come out? What a good little plan that was, because we fell for it.
Yeah.
And I think Rangers fell for it as well, and they have flown out of the blocks the second half. But it's whether Eintracht Frankfurt can keep it up, and I'm not sure they can.
Here is Wright, darting forward for Rangers. Snuffed out, though, by Torre on the edge of the area, and the ball cleared. Of course, the Europa League is synonymous with Sevilla and the amount of success that they've had in the competition. Here they are as the hosts, as next year they'll be playing in the Champions League after already securing 4th place in La Liga. As Rangers, that is the other reward. They win it, they'll be in pot 1 of the Champions League draw as the Europa League winners. What an achievement that would be. That would just top it off as Rangers are attacking. Too far ahead of Tavernier, and the move breaks down and peters out, and it's out for a goal kick. 5 minutes played, Pat, still 0-0.
It's a real shame over on that right-hand side, because they're desperate to get Tavernier on the ball. We go on about him a lot, but he's such an important player. He's not been able to link up with anyone on that right-hand side. And you just start thinking, if you had maybe a Stephen Davis or someone beside him who plays the intelligent ball at the right time, that might work. But I think Van Bronckhorst knows that, and he also knows that likes of Davis, he's no spring chicken anymore, and if he's going to be used, he's going to have to be used late.
That's the familiar voice of Pat Nevin on 5 Live, as the ball from Bassi at the back to Barisic, forced back by Lundstrom, and Bassi with a left-footed ball all the way to McGregor, back inside that penalty area in all yellow for Rangers. Passes the ball to Goldson, who's able to turn. His ball drifting out to this near side. He's easily headed away by Canal. Comes off the head of Kamara, the Finnish international for Rangers. And there was Bassi once again, and now leaves it for Jack, who passes the ball inside to Goldson at the heart of the Rangers defence. There's no real pressure on the central defender at that stage. He passes the ball back towards the left. Barisic keeping the ball at the back. Rangers at this stage, 6.5 minutes into the second half. Then the ball is hit long by Bassi, and just ducking underneath it is Ndicka, and it runs through towards the goalkeeper trap.
Yes, it's not great, that, is it? You know, just a long ball to no one, and even if Aribo wins that, there's nobody up near him to help him. So you wonder how much of it. Well, wait a minute.
Flick on by Rueda. Borre now running away. Borre. Ball really wouldn't go with him. Goldson has gone back with him. Oh, that looked a clumsy challenge.
Oh, it did.
And the referee had a look at his assistant referee and then awards the corner kick.
Oh, that was very concerning. My first thought was that's a penalty kick. I don't think Goldson got it right there. Goldson's saying he got a tiny little bit of the ball. Well, if it's a little bit, it is minute amount of ball that he gets there. If it is, it's a top of a stud, no more than that. And he certainly catches a little bit of body when he goes through. Do you know what? If they have a look at that, that's very concerning.
There is a potential penalty check. We've got a Dutch VAR in Paul van Boekel, and he's having a look. I thought it was clumsy.
I thought it was worse than clumsy, mate. I thought it was a penalty. So if they get away with this, Rangers, they're very lucky, and I think they have. They've got away with it.
Corner kick about to be taken. No, the check is over.
What's he saying? Yeah, they can play.
Yeah, they can play on. Breathe a sigh of relief, Rangers supporters. In comes the corner kick, headed out by Aribo back inside his own penalty area. And then nothing really materialises from the ball by So over the head of and out for a throw on this right-hand side. But that was a potential scare for Rangers, wasn't it, with a VAR check?
Right, to be absolutely honest with you, if that happened up the other end and it was Rangers, you would be screaming for a penalty kick, because there is contact. And does he get the ball at all? No, he makes the most of it, there's no doubt about that. But the referee's been told, the suggestion is, have you made an obvious error?
Yes.
And he feels, or the VAR feels not.
A Slovenian referee, a Serbian fourth official, and a Dutch VAR official in charge of this Europa League final in Seville, live on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and still 0-0. Tavernier pushes the ball past Kostic, runs forward midway through the Eintracht Frankfurt half. Kamara lets it run through, it might still reach Aribo, he pulls it back towards Kent, who hits it first time left-footed, and he screws it well off target. What a chance that was for Rangers, still goalless.
And the space that they managed to develop was so easy, and it's all about Tavernier. He goes by his defender there effortlessly. It's the oldest one in the book, just stick it one side and go the other. But Rangers had 4 players forward in the box there, and that shows you the energy levels that Rangers have got just now. That little first 2 or 3 minutes is exactly what Eintracht Frankfurt did in the first 2 or 3 minutes. Don't panic. If you don't lose a goal, Rangers, you can still get control of this game back, and I think they will.
Still goalless, and Dicker's forward ball. Kostic over the halfway line on the left. Kamada's made a run ahead of him. Lundstrom now matches him to go over and try and curb that run. He got half a foot on the challenge. Kostic now takes over. Tavernier back goal side. Kostic works over the cross. McGregor at his near post catches it with both hands and looks to see what his options are as the Rangers fans now find their voices inside this stadium here in Seville. Masses of blue and orange in the 2 tiers away towards our left-hand side. A sprinkling on the far side before it merges into that block of white. And when the block of white sweeps round back behind the goal of Alan McGregor, back then to the orange and blue of Rangers, as they dominate with 2/3 of the support inside this stadium. After 100,000, or an estimated 100,000 fans have descended on this city in the south of Spain.
Just watching Van Bronckhorst down there, fuming with Rangers for giving the ball away easily when they're in a good position again. It's just that quality. You need to keep a hold of the ball when you're on it and attacking.
Knauf forward for Frankfurt. Back to Röder with his bandaged head after that blow in the first half from the boot of Lundstrom. Torre, Hinteregger, the Austrian international, unable to shake off a hamstring injury as Ndicka under pressure from right goes all the way back to Trapp, and Trapp clears right-footed long downfield. Borre beaten in the air by Goldson. The header might actually fall here to Aribo, who's on in the penalty area, and Aribo has gone on to score, and Glasgow Rangers have taken the lead 11 minutes into the second half. Wild scenes of celebration, all of the end away towards our left-hand side, and Aribo, with such a composed finish, gives Rangers the lead. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Rangers 1. What a moment!
Phenomenal finish there, because he had a lot of time to think about it. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper there. The defendant talked about it all night. Shambolic. He was second favourite by so far to get that ball, but he's turned on it and he just kept on going. The defender who was close to him, he just collapsed. He was nowhere near the ball. He just ran out of legs and fell down. And I'm trying to see who it was. And I've been going on about all of them. Yeah, it's Tuta. I have been going on about them all night. They ain't any good at the back. That was dreadful, but you still have to get in there. You still have to be faster. You still have to have the composure in front of that mob of Rangers fans there. And he had it. What a goal, and how hard is this now going to be for Eintracht Frankfurt?
Rangers, if you can hear us in the din in Seville, jumping up and down, making a real racket, and Eintracht Frankfurt supporters are all silent in that mass of white away towards our right. It came from So's header, a slip by Tuta, and Aribo with his first goal in Europe, his 9th of the season, giving Rangers the lead. And now Rangers can dream.
Well, and do you know what? I'm really comfortable about it before half-time. They have made a change. I mean, Tuta, who made that challenge, who absolutely didn't make that challenge. Well, he says he's injured and he's gone off, and Hasebi's come on.
Yeah, Hasebi's come on, who midfielder, as the cross comes in now on that left-hand side, and he's hooked back to Knauf, and here is Lundstrom, and then
They're looking for a penalty kick there.
Bassi leans into it. They're looking for a penalty off Bassi. He did seem to lean in to the shot that was fired, and it's gone behind for a corner kick.
Well, he says it's his chest or his upper shoulder. It's a tight one. He's leant into it. I don't know if he can get out of the way, that one. We'll have a look at it in slow motion. No, that's not a penalty. Rangers fans, relax.
Lundstrom with a shot. Struck the midriff of Bassi. Corner kick to Eintracht Frankfurt. In it comes now. Headed away by Lundstrom. Glasgow Rangers looking to try and complete a German hat-trick after eliminating Borussia Dortmund, the runners-up in the Bundesliga. They knocked out RB Leipzig in the semi-finals. And now Rangers supporters, who are dancing in the stands here in Seville, are leading by 1-0.
At this point in time, you know, you go up and there's a fear, there's a worry that, you know, the opposition are going to come back at you. I'm not thinking that just now. I'm thinking, get another one. You can get another one. That's a defence. It's all over the place. Rangers have got more control. They had 2 or 3 minutes at the start of the second half where they had a bit of a dig, a bit of a go, and then they're falling away again. We shall see what they do. They've made one change, but that's just a defensive one-for-one change that Eintracht have made just now. Rangers, they can almost sit back and say, right, have you got anything else you're going to throw at us?
So at the minute, Makato Hasebe is a 38-year-old midfielder. He is operating as a central figure in that back three. They've still retained the same shape, have Eintracht Frankfurt. We've been playing for an hour. The next 30 minutes will be purgatory, I would imagine, even though the Rangers fans are still celebrating, because the next 30 minutes are going to take an absolute age to tick by. But Rangers lead by 1-0, and you're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. Headed forward by Lundstrom, and there's Torre down, and it's a head injury, so it'll be a free kick, and the stoppage in play from the Slovenian referee, quite rightly, as Torre's got a blow to the head.
Aribo's mucking about a little bit, winding the defenders up, you know, and he's got a right to kind of do that to some degree. I think he's quite upset because there is a square root of nothing, I think, wrong with Torre. A tiny little bump on the nose, no more than that, and it looks as if he's been swatted by Mike Tyson at the height of his powers 20 odd years ago. He'll be fine, he'll be okay.
What a scene towards our left, and in fact every Rangers supporter inside this stadium is jumping up and down. They are going to shout themselves hoarse for the next 29 minutes. What backing! What a finish from Aribo as well.
We've just seen another rerun of that. And it seems a strange thing to say, but you're 1-on-1 with a keeper and you've got an awful lot of time to think about it. You've got a lot of time to make a mess of it. Do you take it round the keeper? But the keeper didn't come out quick enough, and Aribo does the right thing. Okay, you've left a bit of space there and rolled it calmly and comfortably by him, and it's gone into the corner of the net there. And I absolutely believe it's deserved. They're still down injured there. I'm amazed. Do you know the player who went off? Who was it? Tuta who gone off.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see what was wrong with him. You know, did his hamstring ting at that moment or something? It may well be that, but the amount of time they spend down when they've got an injury, it's as if they just don't believe in it. You know, you have to go out and fight for it. You need to go and show, hey, I'm tough. This game is one of the most important moments of my career. I want to go and show how big it is to me. They seem to be going down wrong about a wee bit too easily for me. Whereas Rangers, no, up and up and keep on going.
What was it John Murray said for the 150th anniversary of the FA Cup at the weekend? A sesquicentenary. Rangers' 150th anniversary could be marked by one of their greatest ever achievements. They're leading by 1-0. Ruda trying to switch play out towards that far side. He finds Kostic. The German team need to get an equalizer as they trail by 1-0. We had 6 minutes of added on time in the first half. We could have another 5 at least in this second half after that head injury. But the move breaks down for Eintracht Frankfurt, bobbles away off the knees of Kostic and out for a goal kick, and every decision that will go in Rangers' favour will be cheered and celebrated by their passionate support.
Well, they've gone a wee bit quiet for a few minutes, hadn't they? And then suddenly there's that explosion of noise, and the suspicion is it will not stop. It's funny, in the semi-final at Ibrox, everyone talked about the noise there, and I thought, well, we'll not be able to recreate that here. Wrong. Recreate it here, and it's fantastic to hear, and it will, as you say, help the Rangers players.
Rangers are leading by a goal to nil. Toure, missed clearance then by Roeder. Wright picks it up, feeds the ball into the penalty area. Aribo goes down under a challenge from Hasebe, who brings the ball away. The veteran at 38 years of age helps it on its way to Kostic, but he's overrun it. They look a little bit rattled to Eintracht Frankfurt.
They absolutely do that. Actually, that was actually a very good challenge there from Hasebe. He read that well. That looked like a little bit more intelligence than I've seen in the rest of that defence so far tonight. But Kostic had a 1-on-1 just a few moments ago. Now, he is among the most dangerous player, if not the most dangerous player in this Eintracht Frankfurt side. Problem is, he's playing against Tavernier. He's not going to sniff at the moment, is he?
Eintracht Frankfurt, who unbeaten in this Europa League campaign, whereas Rangers are the first side to reach a final in the history of this competition after losing their 2 opening matches to Lyon and Sparta Prague. And here they are in the final, and they're leading by a goal to nil. It's still Northampton 0, Mansfield 1, the last few minutes of that League 2 match where Mansfield lead 3-1 on aggregate. But this is the Europa League, and Rangers are 1-0 up.
What you don't want now, Ian, you do not want Rangers to say, OK, it's 1-0, we'll sit back, we'll soak up the pressure a little bit. I don't think they need to do that.
Lundstrom can't carry the ball with him. Goldson goes firmly into the challenge, not once but twice. He beat 3 Eintracht Frankfurt players there. That's that British mentality that Oliver Glasner was talking about yesterday. He was asked to describe it, and he just said desire. They'll run for everything, Rangers, and they are running for everything, and they're protecting the lead. Bassey's forward ball towards Aribo. Stepping forward out of defence is Toure. In the centre circle. Hurried play now by Frankfurt. Lundstrom gives away a free kick inside the centre circle for a challenge on Kamada. Rangers 1-0 up. We're approaching the midway point of the second half.
Sometimes something happens in a game, and I think he spotted it right on there. 1 against 3. He had them outnumbered, didn't he? Because he wanted it more there in that tackle, and all the Rangers players around him will think, yeah, we've got to do that, we've got to keep on doing that. Don't make mistakes though.
Slipped by Goldson in towards Kamada. Kamada lifts it goalwards onto the roof of the net, and he slides away and puts his hand on his head in frustration. That was an opening for Eintracht Frankfurt. It was Goldson with the error, and Kamada couldn't quite take full advantage.
That was a terrible error there. He's far too confident on the ball there, overconfident. As the last man loses the ball, Kamada should score that, shouldn't he? Yeah, McGregor gets out quickly, he narrows the angles, he makes him panic slightly, but I think every single one of those white shots behind that goal expected to drop and nestle in the net. It gone 6 inches over the bar, and that's the difference just now, isn't it?
It's very, very tight, and Rangers need to maintain their concentration. Kamara to Wright on the right hand side, leading by a goal to nil on a stifling night, a night where you can be suffocated with the heat, the energy levels re-energized, because there is so much energy coming from the blue of the Rangers support at the end that they're attacking towards our left-hand side. Goldson outside the centre circle, sprays the ball out towards Kent, does well, very well to keep the ball in play, and back towards Barisic. On the halfway line, he will go back. Eintracht Frankfurt, remember, have scored in every one of their 12 ties of this Europa League campaign, and they have 22 minutes to try and find a goal to maybe force extra time. Otherwise, 50 years on from their triumph in Barcelona, their only win on Spanish soil, Rangers will be tasting European glory once again. Eintracht Frankfurt on the attack, cross from the corner flag, left-hand side, headed away by Bassey. Wright tries to head it on, only as far as Ndicka, 10 yards inside the Rangers half. Passes the ball out towards So. Kostic on the left now for Eintracht Frankfurt. Couldn't thread it through, blocked, out for a throw.
Just look at what Eintracht are doing. Already they're throwing everything forward. Aribo is up one-on-one with Asabi, who's actually back in his zone. They are now got to the stage of the game. We're a quarter of the game to go. Wait a minute.
Cross comes in! And Borre pounces inside the near post. Rangers didn't deal with the threat. It was fired in from the left-hand side, and Eintracht Frankfurt have equalised midway through the second half. Raphael Borre at the near post, 1-1.
There's seen nothing in that. The Rangers had them where they wanted, down the left-hand side. They've hardly got a cross in. Maybe the last 25-30 minutes of play from that left-hand side, because constantly Tavernier stopped it. But this time, the ball comes in from the left, nicks in front of the defender. And that's so depressing for Rangers, because they don't deserve that. They were taking control of the game, but that's cup football. Just turned off for a second, didn't they?
It was fired in, whipped in on the left-hand side. Goldson, I think it was. He didn't deal with it at the near post. He just seemed to let it go through. I'm not too sure what went through there, but then as a result, Borre got in front of Basse.
Golson's got to go for that. He's got to go for it. You know, it's. If he doesn't go for it and thinks he can't, if he hits it, he's going to put it in his own net, he's actually in the wrong position. There's no reason why he should be that far forward. And it's a real, well, it's not one error. It's a whole bunch of errors from Rangers defensively there. They got too comfortable as a quick free kick, and they're now back. And psychologically, that's a horrible thing happened, and they're now going to have to think about it for the next 2 or 3 minutes.
We've got a cooling break now as well because of the heat. So a lot of liquid refreshment has been taken on board, and Eintracht Frankfurt now will be re-energised with the equaliser, because as you say, Pat, it seemed to come out of nothing.
It came absolutely out of nothing, and the play had stopped, and he found himself up in the left wing there. Now on the left wing there, he's normally got a defender that's going to be marking. It's going to be Tavernier, but he found himself with right. He didn't even look to play the cross in. He just turned and leathered it. It went through Wright's legs. That was just a bit lucky, but you get lucky sometimes when you take a chance. But what was not bad luck was the fact that Goalson had turned off. He made a mistake a few minutes earlier. They could have lost the goal because of that mistake. He's made another one by not getting in the right position.
Let's get an update from Northampton as we have this cooling break here in Seville. Lee Blakeman.
Mansfield 1 up on the night, 3-1 up on aggregate. They're on their way to Wembley as things stand, but the game's been suspended. 3 Northampton fans have ran on the pitch with orange flares. Mansfield off to Wembley, game temporarily suspended.
Thank you, Lee. Eintracht Frankfurt have made a change. Lundstrom, who's only just come back after missing the last 4 matches with a hamstring injury picked up in the first leg against West Ham, has been replaced by Jens Petter Hauge, the Norwegian international. So he will come on. It'll be like for like in many ways. And we have got 18 minutes of normal time remaining. And we might well be having extra time unless there is another goal here in Seville. 1-1 between these two sides. Here is Knauf forward for Eintracht Frankfurt. Showed too much to Barisic. Lundstrom plays it forward. Kent controls the ball. Nicks on the way outside of Toure, but Ruder was there to stop him. Wins it back for the white shirts of Eintracht Frankfurt. Inside now to Kamada. Rolls away from Wright, being pulled back a little bit by Wright. Tempers are flaring now. And Kamada stands over Wright. And a yellow card has been shown by the Slovenian referee to the Rangers player. And it's the second yellow card. Aribo was earlier booked after 62 minutes.
I don't think he can have any complaints, because A, the foul in the first place was yellow, and B, the pull back of the jersey was would have been a yellow anyway, so he's only got one for it and he shouldn't complain.
Rangers are going to be making a change. Fashion Sakala, the Zambian international, is going to be coming on. 17 minutes of normal time remaining. Kostic trying to twist Tavernier inside and out, but one twist too many, didn't keep the ball in play. It goes out of play for a goal kick. And we're also going to see another change for Rangers. Stephen Davis who's going to be coming on.
I understand that Ranjak was actually holding his hamstring a few minutes ago, so I think there may be a wee injury there. So I'm not surprised at that change at all. I know it's hot and I know it's the end of the season, but Stephen Davis has got so much quality at controlling games. this may be the right kind of game for him, and I think that's a good move.
The other change is going to be Scott Wright coming off for Fashion Sakala. So Stephen Davis at 37 years of age, 705 appearances in his club career and a 19-year playing career, a veteran, years of experience for the Northern Ireland International, and Sakala comes on up front for Rangers. 1-1, 5 live, 16 minutes of normal time remaining.
Be interesting to see where Sakala plays. I prefer him straight through the middle. He looks to have gone there right away just now. He's played out wide a few times, but he looks much livelier and much more comfortable through the middle.
Aribo gets round the back on the right-hand side for Rangers, playing from right to left. Cross comes in from the right, hasn't really been dealt with there by Toure, only as far as Barisic, 25 yards out from goal, out towards Kent, comes in off that left corner of the penalty area, goes down, no foul says the referee. Davis tries to win the ball back, Hauger digs it away, Toure plays it out, Eintracht Frankfurt are on the break, no, cut out very, very well by Bassi, out of play, it goes for a throw.
It was always going to be important, the substitutes, wasn't it? And they've started to play their cards now. Both of the managers have done that. There's a lot of tired players out there just now, and it's just how much quality you've got in the background to bring through. And Archie before the game was telling us they've not got a great deal in Frankfurt. They don't believe in their backup players, so let's hope that helps Rangers.
Boré has given away a free kick to Rangers in the centre circle. Tomorrow night, the Premier League, Everton Crystal Palace is our commentary. We're at Hampden on Saturday for Rangers against Hearts in the Scottish Cup final, and the final day of the Premier League season. Both the matches involving that title race, that titanic title race, will be on 5 Live and Sports Extra. This is the Europa League final. We could be extended by half an hour as we're locked at 1-1 with a quarter of an hour remaining. Tavernier to take a free kick for Rangers in the centre circle. Floats it forward. Goulson up from the back. Headed away by Toure. Cleared then by Knauf. There was a late challenge on Knauf, and it'll be a free kick to the German side.
Yeah, it was definitely Lundstrom there. He left a little bit in there, but just at the moment, look at what about the lift that they've actually got out of this. It's incredible, isn't it, Eintracht Frankfurt? They were a team that looked almost completely out of it. Watching that goal again, who was the final touch? It wasn't that obvious. It might have been a Rangers player, but I don't think the OG man ever wants to take them. So we'll go down to the Eintracht forward.
Kamada making the run in behind Tavernier. Left-hand side of the penalty area, waits for support, pulls it back. Röder into the penalty area to Hauger, who tries to place it right-footed, couldn't keep it down. Goal kick, 1-1.
Can't believe Röder didn't have a shot there. He's 16, 17 yards out. He's got plenty of time to get the ball under control and have a shot. He's played it wide to his mate Hauger, who's come on, who's an attack-minded player. But there was a chance of a shot. That's a major European final, mate. Have a goal, write yourself into history.
Do you think that we're going to have another goal in the next 13 minutes, or does your hunch tell you that we're heading for extra time?
Do you know, players getting tired. You know, the game often opens up near the end, but it's a final, so people don't want to make mistakes. So I'm afraid before the game I was asked about this game and I said it's a toss-up. Well, it's back to being a toss-up again.
Headed back by Goulson to McGregor, bowls the ball out to Barisic. The tension inside the stadium is unbearable at 1-1. Barisic turns back, Röder putting him under pressure, and he puts the ball out of play for a throw. And Eintracht Frankfurt now being urged on by their support as another red flare is being let off behind the goal of Alan McGregor.
That just underlined it there. He's got the ball in left back position at Barisic, and nobody showed for him, and he panicked. That wasn't happening with Rangers 10 minutes ago, but it is beginning to happen now. They have to calm down a little bit.
Sakala putting pressure on Hasabi. That was a blatant push, and it'll be a free kick. If that wasn't given, then we would have to worry about the referee. Full time at Sixfields, Northampton 0, Mansfield Town 1. Mansfield have won 3-1 in aggregate. They will play either Port Vale or Swindon in the League 2 playoff final next weekend at Wembley. So Nigel Clough's side on their way to Wembley in the League 2 playoff final. This is the Europa League final. Brilliant by Tavernier. If he doesn't bring that out as the ball was played over his shoulder, Kamada's away. But he dealt with it very, very well. searching ball towards Ryan Kent, headed forward though by Toure, picked up by Knauf. Kent back at him, gets a foot into the challenge. So the Swiss international on the halfway line plays it back. Hasebe goes inside, and Dicker gives it back to the Japanese veteran, and then the ball played by Toure. Borre back there helping out, barged off the ball, free kick to Eintracht Frankfurt just inside the Rangers half. 11 minutes remaining of normal time, 1-1.
At this point in time, I think Rangers were gutted that Hasebe come on. Midfielder, veteran. He's been the best player in that back line all night for the minutes. They've actually got very, very lucky that they got Tuta who went off there, because they've actually looked a wee bit better in the back since he's come on.
On an extremely humid night in Seville, these next 10 minutes will determine whether we've got an additional 30 or not. One apiece in the Europa League final. Kostic to take a free kick 10 yards inside the Rangers half. Curls it in left-footed, dropping inside the penalty area. One bounce and tipped over by McGregor. It reared up really, really awkwardly. Watchful by the goalkeeper. Couldn't take the chance. Touched it behind for a corner.
Yeah, and he zipped off that touch, which you wouldn't expect here. There is an argument that he could still have caught it though, but he's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world, so take no chances, flicks it over. But if they lose a goal from this corner kick, I think a few eyes will look at McGregor again.
Kostic waits to take the corner kick, far side the left. In it comes now, headed out by Davis at the near post, out for a throw to Eintracht Frankfurt. 5 Live and BBC Sounds live here in Seville. The throw for the German side, and that will be a goal kick. Borre thought it was a corner, but he didn't keep the ball. It was a poor first touch. Out it goes. Goal kick, one apiece.
Do you know what Rangers have won just now? They said to Sakala, play against Hasebe, because you will absolutely batter him for pace. It's not even close between the two of them. Hasebe's clever though, he just runs in front of him each time. And Sakala, just don't foul him. Next time you run against him, don't foul him. He has to make a decision, and that's what Rangers will. They've got Aribo up front there, alongside Sakala. They're asking big, big questions, and that's good for Rangers, because if you're going to win a major trophy, you've got to take chances, you've got to be in the front foot.
Well, Rangers were ahead for 12 minutes before they were pegged back, and now we have 9 minutes of normal time remaining. They have a throw. Tavernier level with the penalty area. Aribo clearly being held. Kamara.
He's offside. He was definitely offside before that. Aribo held the ball up quite well there, but when he received it, it was way offside.
Free kick then to Eintracht Frankfurt. And Dicker on that far side is actually going to leave towards the goalkeeper, Kevin Trapp, to take.
I can tell you some people will be very happy with this result just now here. Hearts fans. We're delighted about it.
You'll hear that from Hampden on Saturday. Sakala can't hold on to the ball, so plays it back. Hasebe, with the Zambian international just hovering, plays it back towards his goalkeeper Trapp, hits it away right-footed. Hauger getting involved in a bit of a tussle with Basse, but it's his header away for Rangers. Here is Toure midway through his own half, and he goes back towards his goalkeeper.
This is so tense now, and you can see it in every player. We have come to that point, with less than 10 minutes to go, that nobody wants to make a mistake.
Hauger making a run off the ball. Basse gets himself goal side, tries to hold him off, and does very, very well with his strength, and marshals the ball safely out for a goal kick. The fresh legs of the substitute testing there, Calvin Basse, with a 21-year-old defender, signed on a free from Leicester City. The Nigerian international was equal to the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, he's really powerful, he's really physically strong as well, and he had to get in front of his his forward there. He did it very, very well, but as I was saying before that, if you're a defender, you know, you make a mistake, you lose this competition, you will be remembered for that more than anything else in your entire career, and it kind of doesn't matter what you do. That's why you see tension in the back lines. For the forwards, it's all right. It's not the same sort of pressure.
Whilst you're talking, Pat, I'm just gauging the atmosphere inside the stadium, and the Eintracht Frankfurt supporters are making the greater noise. There is an element of the Rangers support inside the stadium, a little bit subdued, a little bit flat, as Eintracht Frankfurt are attacking. Knauf, ball cleared by Tavernier, but it was a slice clearance off his right boot, and out of play it goes for a throw on that far side. Under 7 minutes remaining of normal time in this Europa League final of 2022. Here is Knauf for the white of Eintracht Frankfurt. Links up with Röder. Challenge from Barisic. He tracked him, did well. The left back for Rangers. Ball up now towards Sakala, over the top. It's 1 against 2. Sakala, edge of the area. Sakala can't get past Hasebi. He's got a second chance though to get hold of the ball, and he plays it back to Davis. Inside to Lundstrom. 1-1. Davis now on this left-hand side. Down the line, little flicking field by Barisic. Kamara rolls away, feeds it through. Sakala in the penalty area, shoots low. Gathered in at the second attempt by the goalkeeper.
It's just another little moment. This is becoming a great game now. At the end, the tension is end to end now. Just a moment ago there, Sakala had Hasebi 1-1, just like I was talking about before. Hasebi was so clever about it. Had to win that challenge, did win that challenge. But every one of them is an absolute necessity now. And Hasebi cannot afford to make one mistake against the paces again.
Here is Kamada outside the centre circle. Knauf is free on this right hand side as the right wing back joins the attack. Right corner of the area, comes inside. Kamada is there, back out to Hauger on the right. Tried to pass the ball, blocked by Bassi. You're getting to that stage where nobody wants to make a mistake now, with 5 minutes of normal time remaining. So much at stake. Everything on the line in normal time because there wouldn't be much time to recover. 1-1. Torre to Röder. Eintracht Frankfurt finishing the game very, very strongly. Floated ball cut out by Lundstrom, just dropping, protecting that back four. Clearance over the head of Sakala. Hasebi touches the ball towards So. Torre plays the ball back, and Hasebi with a left-footed back pass all the way towards his goalkeeper. Trapp hits it long. Röder loses out in the air to Bassi. Hauger back inside his own half. Hammered away then by Hasebi for Eintracht Frankfurt and chested back by Tavernier towards his goalkeeper. Boy, it's tense.
It's incredibly tense. Just looking at Stephen Davis, he's not really getting involved in the game there. He's a player who just, if he can get a lot of bad space there, he will get his head up and he will see that Aribo's got more pace than the defender he's playing against. He will see that Sakala's got more pace than the defender he's playing against. So you're desperate if you're a Rangers player supporter to get him on the ball, but he can't get on it yet.
Tavernier wins the challenge with Kamada. Back he goes to McGregor. Out to Barisic on this near side to left. Ball is square midway through the Rangers half for Davis. Now to Lundstrom outside the centre circle. Aribo, the Rangers goal scorer, out to Tavernier midway through the Eintracht Frankfurt half. And we've got 3.5 minutes remaining, but the move breaks down and the ball just rolls into the feet of Trapp, the Eintracht Frankfurt goalkeeper.
What was Aribo thinking there? He runs into the space that Tavernier wants to go into and he kills all the space there. All Tavernier's want is a one-on-one with anybody down that wing. Nobody will get near him. Poor play there by Rangers going forward.
Here is Hauger. Kamada takes over, passes the ball with pace towards Knauf. Barisic back pedals, right-hand side of the penalty area. Barisic with a block, picked up by Kent. Kent then turns away from Röder. He's done very, very well. Ryan Kent, maybe a break on here for Rangers. Kent looks up, passes the ball out towards Aribo. Kamara and Sakala are up with him. Here is Kamara, off balance, couldn't stab it back towards Aribo. Move breaks down. Eintracht Frankfurt now pick it up, and we've got under 3 minutes remaining. 1-1 in the Europa League final. Eintracht Frankfurt see a move break down. Kamara in the midfield for Rangers.
Kamara has got so many options and he's not brave enough to play any of them. Sakala was on there. On the right hand side, Aribo was on. He stops and he turns back. You're right at the end of the game. There's a lot of space there. Try and use it. He looks out on his feet.
It's an energy sapping night. It's an emotional draining night from the supporters' point of view, and there are some tired legs out there now as Eintracht Frankfurt are ready to make another change with time running out. And it's going to be Christian Jakic who's going to be coming on, a midfielder, a Croatian international. So as he waits to come on, Eintracht Frankfurt attack with Hauger, ball through the middle. But there was just no energy. Borre was never going to get on the end of that. Bowled out by McGregor. Rangers urged on by their massive support behind the goal that they're attacking. Ball given away by Sakala to Kamada. Borre gives chase, runs into space, right side of the penalty area. Boré with the cross. Tavernier doesn't really get the clearance away. Kostic fires it back in, and it drops across the face of goal. McGregor dived at it, couldn't get the touch. Out of play, it goes for a goal kick. That was close. 90 seconds remain, 1-1.
Every other game this season, Tavernier gets that ball and either chests it or heads it back to his keeper. But because in the last minute of the European final, he panics, he tries to head it away, doesn't get anything on it, and at least a half a chance there. I think McGregor had it covered, but you don't want things like that to happen right at the end. You're going to make a change now, and I think that man Roda, he has gone through a pair of work, but he's coming off now.
Sebastian Roda, the 31-year-old German, the club captain, replaced by Christian Jakic, the 24-year-old Croatian international, who's on loan from Dinamo Zagreb. Comes on to replace him inside the last 60 seconds of normal time. We'll find out how much added on time there will be. Expecting a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, it could be. And there are quite a lot of players out there whose hearts will sink when they see that 5 or 6 minutes or whatever it's come up, because there's a lot of work being done, and we keep on going on about the weather and the end of the season, and it may well be it's the fittest and strongest team that survives.
Offside against Kamada, free kick to Rangers. Giovanni van Bronckhorst, very experienced Dutch international, 5 trophies as a player with Rangers. World Cup runner-up in 2010, a Champions League winner with Barcelona in 2006, trying to utilise all of that experience now, of course, as a manager. He's had success with Feyenoord. This would be such an achievement for Rangers. 5 minutes of additional time, which we're now into. Still in the sticky heat in Seville. Frankfurt 1, Rangers 1. And we have extra time looming, but Rangers are attacking. Davis heads the ball to Tavernier, back to Davis, plays it to Kamara, right corner of the penalty area, links it with Aribo. Kamara has a shot, charged down, breaks towards Sakala, edge of the area. Barisic joins the attack, first time cross from the left. It bounces out of play for a throw, right down by the corner flag, 1-1.
That would have been a real shot had Kamara scored with an outside of the right foot shot there. He did exactly the right thing, but it was well blocked by that defence.
Followed Rangers from all over the world to get here to southern Spain. They might be watching in the Couture Stadium on the giant screens, but the Rangers fans here are hoping for a dramatic winner. As Sakala, left side of the penalty area. Eintracht Frankfurt put the ball out of play for a throw to Rangers, level with the penalty area. Barisic to take it to Sakala, tries to roll away from Jakic. Boré goes to ground, wins the free kick right in front of the referee. Bassi tight behind him. Free kick to Eintracht Frankfurt in stoppage time, 1-1.
I'm not having that. I think that he bought that one off the referee. The referee's not falling for it that often. He's held himself up, and then he thought, actually, I'm too tired here. I'm going to throw myself to the ground. He does so. He gives himself a little bit of rest, Boré.
So 3 minutes remaining of stoppage time. And then we might have another extra time. Since the final switch to single final format, there have been 24 finals. 8 have gone to extra time. 4 have gone the whole hog to penalties. You might remember Gdansk last year, where Villarreal beat Manchester United 11-10. We're facing extra time here in Seville. Free kick to Rangers. And we're halfway through the allotted 5.
Do you know what? Ryan Kent done brilliantly there. He was 2 players against him, big strong players against him, but he knew he had to hold his line there. He held there and he managed to get his foul there. Had he not got the foul, they were in real trouble, Rangers. They had plenty of players bearing down on them. As it is, they've got a free kick. I was going to say they just have to survive another couple of minutes. They're not thinking like that. They want to score. They want another chance.
Free kick to Rangers. Barisic is going to take it. Left-footed. Hit downfield. Hasebe heads it away. Davis heads it forward for Rangers. Coming across was Toure. And out of play it goes for a Rangers throw. 10 yards up from the corner flag.
Just watch him as a Barisic's there, trying to run up to take a throw in. He can hardly move. He's absolutely gone in his feet. I say, he's not the only one. You have to make sure you keep some energy left and have Rangers get enough energy for one last chance.
A goal now surely wins it. Ryan Kent, left-hand side. Good trickery, breaks back to Barisic. Barisic takes it to the byline, works over the cross. Torre sliced the clearance. Knauf, off balance, puts it out of play for a Rangers throw, deep inside the Eintracht Frankfurt half. And we're under 90 seconds remaining. 1-1 on 5 Live. Barisic 10 yards up from the corner flag. Not much movement from the blue shirts for Barisic to take the throw. Davis shows himself. Back towards Barisic, tries to get away from Hauger. Does well, Barisic, sends over the cross, blocked though by Jakic, potential break for Eintracht Frankfurt. Kamada switches it towards the left, Kostic has to get there, so does Connor Goldson, and he was caught by Kostic as he goes tumbling. What a challenge that was by Goldson, because Kostic has got some legs on him, and he had to be the last line of defence almost midway through the Rangers half.
He had to make that, and if he didn't make it and tried the foot race against him, he was losing by a huge distance there. He gets there, he's made 1 or 2 mistakes in the second half. He didn't make a mistake there, he timed that perfectly and got himself out of the hole.
By my watch, 30 seconds of the minimum of 5 remain. It is still 1-1 here in Seville. Goldson with a free kick, right-footed, long diagonal ball, drops on the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Torre, picked up by Kent for Rangers. Back to Bassi in the centre circle. Now it's with Barisic. Barisic plays the ball back. Very, very soon the 5 minutes will have elapsed. And extra time is now upon us. We're at the end of the 90 minutes in this Europa League final. And I think for the first time, silence has just fallen here inside this stadium. Everybody now is taking a breather, and I mean everybody.
Well, we were talking to Don Hutchinson, and he said the brilliant phrase at half-time. He said, and breathe. Yeah, you're right, Don. Now, and breathe. You need to make sure you have the strength and the power to come back in this second period of the game and give everything you've got. It might not be much, but you've got to give everything. And remember something, every player you're playing against is exhausted as well. Try and call it in.
Well, we've got Don Hutchison, who's back with us after it's 1-1 at the end of the 90 minutes. Aribo with a composed finish, giving Rangers the lead. It lasted for 12 minutes before Boré at the near post equalised for Eintracht Frankfurt. Don, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts towards the end of the game, Rangers desperately needed the full-time whistle because I thought Rangers were in trouble. Then I thought they were losing a little bit of legs. I thought Eintracht's goal gave them so much confidence. They looked the stronger of the sides. I think Rangers still look nervy to me. I mean, the 2 weaknesses in the 2 sides are centrally at the back. I think Connor Goldson, for the first time this season, looked as though the occasion's just starting to get the best of him. Calvin Bassi alongside of him, I've got to say, I think he's been magnificent. So if both teams can sum up the energy, I think when both teams go forward, you think as though both teams can score, but I thought Rangers massively needed that final whistle just to try and take some instructions and just trying to get some fresh legs and some clear thinking.
And when Hasabi's come on for Eintracht Frankfurt, he's been very assured at the back for them, hasn't he?
He's a good player. You know, he's a good player. He's very calm. He doesn't rush his play. He sees a good picture. You know, he's a very experienced player. He knows the game. He's played a lot of minutes. But this game is still in the balance. I'm still waiting for Rangers to take control of that midfield. It's a huge blow for Eintracht that they took Sebastian Roeder off. He was an incredible player, but he doesn't seem to last too many 90 minutes because of the effort that he puts in. But as games go now, this is extremely tense.
Do you know what, Don, I don't know how much you're seeing of the pictures here. I'm watching the 2 sides down there. Rangers players are all standing around the manager. They're all talking to him. They're all applauding each other. There's about 4 Eintracht Frankfurt players that were lying on their backs, trying to get rubbed, trying to get straight. They looked as if they were absolutely out of it. So it may well be that there's just a wee bit more power and a wee bit more strength and a wee bit more physicality that Rangers have got. And you know as well as anyone, this is where you need it, isn't it?
Exactly. Did you guys get a replay of the Connor Goldson penalty? Because I thought it was a penalty nailed on. I'm surprised the VAR and the referee, I thought the referee and the VAR not going to look at that done Rangers a massive favour.
Well, my phrase was, if that was up the other end for Rangers, you would be going absolutely mad that it wasn't given. Rangers absolutely got away with one. I don't think there's any argument there. They got away with one. The only argument you could say against it was it wasn't clear and obvious, but it was damn close to clear and obvious, the mistake the referee made.
It was. This is where you need Van Bronckhorst now to deliver a team talk. And how he does this team talk, Pat, I'll never know, because he wants his players. I don't think, and you might disagree, or you might agree, you and Deno. I think what Van Bronckhorst will say to his players, this is not the best version of Rangers. This is not a good Rangers performances. Yes, they're digging in, and you have to, and you've got to show heart and character. But as performances go, this is not their best version. Would you agree?
Yeah, but you know, the nervousness is having an effect on it. But see, at the end of it, in 10, 20, 30 years' time, do they care? As long as they get that win. And by the way, I think Scotty Arfield's coming on, so that's a big win, isn't it, Kelly?
Yeah, what difference do you think he's going to make, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, his energy levels, we keep on talking, we've all said about the same things, about the tiredness, about the heat, about the end of the season. If you can bring on players at this point in time who are top quality players, who have got lots and lots of energy, every player who's playing against them who's done 90 minutes already, their heart sinks. So yeah, Scotty Arfield has played at the top level, Premier League. He's been a good player for Rangers this season. Great player to bring on there.
They might even be starting to think about their penalty takers, but they will be hoping it is done before then. Another 30 minutes of action coming your way from Seville. It is Rangers 1, Frankfurt 1 after 90 minutes. With you for extra time and possibly penalties, Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, the third change being made for Rangers. Eintracht Frankfurt have made 3 substitutions. And Arfield coming on for Kamara in the midfield. So I can run through the two teams. McGregor in goal for Rangers. Tavernier, Goldson, Bassi and Barisic the defence. Arfield, Lundstrom and Davis now the midfield. Aribo, Sakala and Kent the front 3 for Rangers, all in royal blue. First period of extra time is underway. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Rangers are playing from left to right against Eintracht Frankfurt in their third kit, despite being the designated home side. They're all in white, but they've prospered well in Europe in this kit so far, and they have Trapp in goal, a back 3 of Ndika, Hasebe and Torre, Knauf, Jakic, So and Kostic, Kamada, Boré and Hauger. Eintracht Frankfurt with that equalizer from Boré after 69 minutes, when the Rangers support were thinking 50 years on after that European Cup Winners' Cup final in Spain, their only win in Spain at the Nou Camp when they beat Dinamo Moscow by 3-2. It's a final that's been regarded as quite symbolic to be back here in Spain, but they might have to go the whole hog if Rangers are to add to that European title that they won back in 1972.
Just was a little tactical change that Rangers have made. Lundstrom's interesting because his midfield sometimes drops him to be a 3 at the back, and the reason for that is to give it a little bit of a chance to get that man Tavernier forward. So you watch Lundstrom, he drops into a back 3. It's a really clever move when they've not got the ball, but has Tavernier got the energy at this point in time to get on the field?
Former Scottish international Pat Nevin, who's here with us in Seville. 1-1. Bassi at the back. The Rangers fans have used that period in between normal time and extra time to find more energy as they go again, to raise their voices, to try and keep the players going. As Hasebe to Kamada, little layoff now, So takes over, passes the ball forward to Kostic. Kostic on the left, looks for the run of Hauger, and an outstretched foot from the right boot of Lundstrom diverts the ball behind for a corner kick to Eintracht Frankfurt.
Just a horrible moment. I thought he was going to leave it there, just like the goal that Rangers lost there, but I think that was in his mind too there. Goldson left it the first time. This time he didn't leave it, and it was the right thing to do.
Kostic with a corner kick. Headed out. Kent eventually clears. There's nobody there. Every royal blue shirt was back, so there was no one to hold up the ball as Hasebe, who's now taken over the captain's armband after Ruda was replaced in normal time, plays the ball back to Trapp.
It's brilliant to see the change. We talked beforehand about Van Bronckhorst changing technical stuff in the game. He's went basically 5-2-3. And it's just asking a different question of the opposition.
Hauge makes the run in behind. Flag stays down. Hauge, the Norwegian international. Bassi has gone with him. Again, Bassi brings the ball away. Superb defending by Calvin Bassi. Kent, did he keep the ball in play? I thought possibly not, but the assistant referee says play on, and now it's with Aribo, heads it into the centre circle. Arfield spreads it out towards that left-hand side, and Rangers are able to attack. Barisic on the overlap. Sakala will come inside. He finds Arfield, who shoots from distance, and his right-footed effort always on the rise over the crossbar, out for a goal kick. It remains 1-1 on 5 line.
Similar to Ryan Jack a little bit earlier on. There's no situations. I know that the excitement's coursing through your veins. You've got to get it on target. You've got to ask the keeper a question. And he's just at the rush of blood, and he's lashed in it, and he's sailed. It's only a foot over the bar, but it doesn't matter.
Ball up towards Borre. Goalson, though, heads it away for Rangers. Eintracht Frankfurt win the ball back. Knauf over the halfway line, links up with Hauge, runs in field, 10 yards forward of the centre circle. Little touch by Kamada, played them back to Hauge. Knauf has still stayed up there, but Hauge's lost the ball. And now it's with Sakala, who's going to go on the outside of Ndicka. He's got the beating of Ndicka for his pace. Then he slows down, and Ndicka's back goal side. He might well have actually pulled an injury there. I think he's feeling his hamstring. He's struggling, is Ndicka.
How many more centre-backs were they going to lose at this point in time? He did not want to chase Sakala there, did he? And now we know why.
Tavernier, short diagonal ball. Sakala plays it back to Davis. Rangers seeing the ball, keeping possession. 1-1 it remains on 5 Live, 5 minutes into the first period of extra time.
I can't believe Rangers are not trying to get the ball to Sakala and just run up now. And Ndicka's definitely got a hamstring.
Oh,
he can't move.
A mistake by Bassi. He stumbled. He's let in Borre. Borre in the penalty area. McGregor quickly off his goal line makes the save. Behind for a corner kick. That was an awkward, horrible moment from Bassi. But Borre couldn't get there, and McGregor quickly came out and made the angle tight, gets it behind for a corner kick.
What a horrible moment that would have been. Had he lost the goal, then your heart would have sank from, because it was a dreadful mistake. And we watched Goalson make a mistake earlier on in the game, which almost led to a goal. And that time it's from Kamada. This time, terrible effort.
In comes the corner kick. It's an in-swinger. In fact, credit to Bassi. It wasn't the save from McGregor. It was actually Bassi who recovered, sliding in, stopped the shot from Borre. Kent thought he was being impeded. The referee says no, free kick.
Do you know, still haven't taken the defender Ndicka off, and he's out here on the right hand side. You're desperate to get a run at that guy. He can't run. I'm sure Stephen Davis has spotted it. I'm sure good players will look up and say, there's a problem there. He's shouting over his bench. He's desperate to get off Ndicka. He's been on for 2 minutes there. You've not had a chance to run him. You've got to make that happen.
They are entitled to bring on another substitution. You get obviously the certain moments in play where you can bring on a substitute. They've only brought on the 3 so far, but that additional opportunity does present itself in extra time. But Ndicka is seriously struggling. He's so hampered. I'd just get the opportunity up to Aribo or Sakala and run at him.
If you're an organised team, you see that and you just organise a situation and you pull everybody to the other side and you leave them isolated. There's not a chance to run at them yet. Here maybe it's still haven't had a chance. It's infuriating.
They've got Chandler, they've got Da Costa as defenders on the bench. Lenz is another defender.
Chandler's more of a kind of wing-backy type, isn't he? He gets up the field, but he can maybe do a job at the back, but they don't want that now. There was other people at Roda who could have done the job and stepped back in there, but he's off the pitch now, so he can't do it.
We're halfway through the first period of extra time. It is 1-1. Davis plays the ball back to Goldson. Patient play from Rangers. Lundstrom. Tavernier is ahead of him on this near side, the right. Approaches the halfway line and he plays it back to Goldson. Goldson now will go left to Bassi and forward now over the halfway line to Barisic. Making the run ahead of him is Arfield, just in from that left touchline midway through the Eintracht Frankfurt half. And now the change can be made. Rangers are also going to be making a change as well.
It's so infuriating. It takes that long to make the change, and you never once ask the question in that period of time. That's a missed opportunity for Rangers. Having said that, They've had good composure on the ball in the last few minutes. And certainly Eintracht Frankfurt haven't put them under a great deal of pressure, have they? Except when Rangers have made the mistake themselves.
It's tight, it's tense. In the stifling heat here in Seville, Sands is going to be coming on.
They can't make their mind up down here, Eintracht, can they? They've had about 3 chances to make that change. I mean, he does not know why he's not made the change. The substitute is human.
It's Lenz who's going to be coming on as Aribo tries to dance his way in towards the penalty area. Stopped by Hasebe, who clears the ball away downfield. I mean, Lenz is primarily a left-back, Christopher Lenz, but there is still a lot of uncertainty.
Well, they may have other injuries that they're worried about, you know. But I mean, he's limping so ridiculously.
I think what it is that this will be their final opportunity. So if they don't make a double change, I think I'm right in saying then they wouldn't be able to utilise their 5th substitute. Sands waits to come on. Here is Arfield. 1-1 it remains, but a lot of indecision from the Eintracht Frankfurt bench. Strong run by Kent, burst of pace, chips over the cross into the penalty area. Sakala was there, Arfield on the edge of the area, so hooks it away for Eintracht Frankfurt. Hauger there, helped on by the head of Kamada. Break on for Eintracht Frankfurt. Knauf on the right hand side, carries the ball to the edge of the penalty area, into the box, and then he shoots right-footed, and it was never going to trouble McGregor. Off target goal kick, 1-1. Lundstrom's down with cramp for Rangers.
Yeah, there'll be a few more of them there. Bassey did a good job there, didn't he? He had to make up a lot of ground there, but you could see him galloping back all the way. He didn't get all the way back there, but he put enough pressure on, and at that point he did not have the energy to shoot there. Knauf actually has looked very good. I have to say he has looked very good when he's had chances to go forward. They have made that change down there.
Yeah, Ndicka is finally off, and Christopher Lenz, the German defender, in his first season after spending 5 years at Union Berlin, coming on, and he will go to the left of the 3 alongside Hasebe and Toure. Rangers change is going to be James Sands, the American, an American international with 7 caps. He's on an 18-month loan from New York City, coming on for his 14th appearance, the 21-year-old. And the player who is coming off is Aribo, who gave Rangers the lead in the second half. We're in the first period of extra time, so Sands, he can play in defence or midfield, coming on for Joe Aribo for Rangers.
Does any player ever own up to the fact that when they're substituted at this point in the game in a major final of this, thank goodness I don't have to take a penalty. They don't own up to it, but there's plenty of them that feel it.
It was a penalty shootout that determined the Europa League final last season. Villarreal, who, like Eintracht Frankfurt, were unbeaten throughout the whole of the campaign, edged out Manchester United in Poland. We're coming to the end of the first period of extra time. It is 1-1. Here is Goldson, just outside the centre circle. Tavernier high up the pitch. Kostic comes across. Tavernier away from him. Tavernier's done well. Sakala with his back to goal. Pulls it back to Davis. Shot blocked on the edge of the area. And Knauf clears the ball away. Now Borre up against Goldson, one-on-one. Goldson's got to hold him up. He appeals for handball from the Colombian forward. Spotted by the assistant referee far side. Free kick to Rangers.
Good call there. He's shouting and bawling the assistant referee. He wasn't going to give it, but because he made such a fuss about it, he managed to get it there. Really, really good play there. And it just shows you the chances the teams are playing there. They'd left him 1-on-1 there. He had to make that tackle. He managed to do it.
This stadium hosted the 1986 European Cup final. That went to a penalty shootout. Barcelona lost to Steaua Bucharest. Steaua Bucharest winning 2-0 on penalties.
2-0?
2-0.
High quality then.
Goldson drives the ball downfield over the head of Tavernier, out of play for a throw. I can tell you who won't be happy about extra time and penalties will be the officials here in Seville, who've got to take down all the Europa League branding, because Sevilla take ownership of the ground at 6 o'clock in the morning. They've got to take out all the desks that we're using here in the media facilities, put the seats back in, take down the branding. That's going to be some job. Be one for Challenge Annika, I think.
I think there might be some rubbish left behind as well, all over the place. That was a big job, and it will be a nice, pleasant job to do, but it's still very, very warm in the stadium. And of course, there's going to be celebrations afterwards by whoever wins this for a long time.
Tell you what, it's been a good night for weight loss. I reckon I've shed about a stone here tonight, as the ball is cleared long by McGregor, stooping header forward by Bassi. Lundstrom pokes it towards Sakala. Will it reach him? Yes, he will, over the halfway line. Kostic tried to stop him. Sakala tried to nick it on the outside of Lens, and it goes out of play for a Rangers throw. And we are about to enter the last minutes of the first period of extra time. Here is Borre, the Colombian international striker. Jakic joins the attack, out to Knauf, on loan from Dortmund. Got plenty of energy, up and down on that right-hand side, a willing runner. Strikes the back of Bassi.
Yeah, he certainly struck his elbow, but he had his back to it. He had no idea where the ball was, so referee up with place, spotted that, good referee.
Here is Hasebi at the heart of the Eintracht Frankfurt defence. It's the German support that you might be able to hear. All in white, with the exception of those bare-chested ultras at the front of that stand, as Lens almost showed too much towards Sakala. Jakic back with Hasebi along the ground, finds his fellow countryman Kamada inside. Bit of a miscommunication between Jakic and Borre, allows Rangers to get on the ball. Lens clearly checks Sakala. Referee gives a free kick. Free kick to Rangers, 1-1.
Don't fancy chasing them, do they? None of them do. There's an amount of players that check Sakala because he knows he's got the pace of everyone else. And the referee would usually give a yellow card, wouldn't he, for that? You know, it's an obvious block. He's not trying to play the ball, but because it's a cup final, he doesn't do that. That doesn't help Sakala, does it? An extra 1 minute we're going to get this first half.
1 minute of additional time in extra time for this first period, still one apiece. Goalson with a free kick, downfield, Tavernier, outstretched right leg, couldn't keep it in play. It'll be an Eintracht Frankfurt throw. Some weary limbs down there, Pat, now as the throw from Eintracht Frankfurt. Borre to Kamada. Borre plays it back, so caught in possession from Arfield. Lundstrom inside, Ryan Kent 30 yards out from goal. Challenge comes in from Borre, more out of frustration, I think, that they didn't get a decision previously. He won the ball back though for Frankfurt. Hook play by Goalson. Challenge then from Lens, strong on Arfield. Ball up towards Borre, plays it back. So now short of the halfway line, and the ball is played back, and then it's hit by Kostic towards Knauf. That was a very good header away under pressure from Barisic. Out of play it goes for a throw, and there is the half-time whistle in extra time. Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Rangers 1. 15 minutes, otherwise, Kelly, we've got a penalty shootout here.
Dano and Pat will be back with you very shortly. Don Hutchison is also with us. Don, they're always cagey affairs, aren't they, extra time? You've got players who are exhausted, who are on their last leg, who are desperate not to make a mistake. And although there have been a couple of chances in this one, they've been sort of half chances, really.
It's a horrible watch now, Kelly, because you know what the players have gone through. They're in the mindset now where they're thinking, please don't be the one that makes a mistake. But if I'm playing for Rangers, I've got great hope in Sakala, who's so quick. He's got to start running behind, try and get the ball to Kent and him, because those two players can take you so far up the pitch, and it can take a little bit of pressure off the midfield, and especially that back line. Rangers have now gone to a 3, so they're a little bit defensive. Wing backs trying to get higher up the pitch, but those two boys might be the key, especially Sakala.
The worry now is that if a goal is scored or conceded, it's going to come down to a mistake.
Yeah, that's the feeling, or a little bit of skill, but you do feel as though once you get to this point in the game, you've got to be mentally concentrated, you've got to be so sharp, you've got to be focused. If you've got to clear your lines, it's pointless at this time taking a chance at the back, but it's there to be won. If you're brave enough, if you're Eintracht or Rangers in this 15 minutes, if you're Van Bronckhorst or Oliver Glasner, you deliver a team talk now where you don't want this to go to pens. You've got to deliver a team talk, get yourself on the front foot, be positive, and go and win this game.
I don't know if you read, I think it was in The Athletic, they did a sort of analysis of Klopp and Tuchel in the penalty shootout in the FA Cup final at the weekend, and talked about the preparation for Liverpool. Just gained Klopp a couple of extra moments to be able to talk with his group of players. Do the managers now need to be thinking about what happens should it be all square at the end of 120 minutes?
I think they'll be thinking of it, but not when they're delivering this team talk now with 15 to go. Once the managers put their players onto the pitch for the next 15 minutes, that's when I think the conversations has to happen. But I think at this point in the game, I think it's been a terrific watch. It's been a nervy watch, and you wish both teams all the very best in this sort of situation.
It's going to be very difficult over the next 15 minutes. It is all on the line for Rangers. They are looking for their first European trophy in 50 years. They've been in finals. They've been in big finals. They've played in huge occasions. They play regularly in the Old Firm games, one of the hottest atmospheres in football. But tonight it's a Europa League final. They've got 15 minutes to try and do it from open play before it goes to penalties. It is Rangers 1, Frankfurt 1, as we're about to get the second period of extra time underway in the company of Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Kelly. We said before it was energy sapping, it's nerve shredding. Eintracht Frankfurt have just made a change. Aiden Hrustic, an Australian international, coming on for So, as the Rangers supporters in full voice for one final effort in the 64th game of a European campaign that began on the 3rd of August away to Malmo in a Champions League qualifier. Otherwise, it's penalties as the ball is played out by Goalson to Barisic. Now with Davis playing the ball back. Forget the myth about Germans and penalty shootouts, by the way. Just having a little look. Eintracht Frankfurt have lost both of their penalty shootouts in UEFA competition. Rangers are on the attack. Maybe it won't need and come to penalties. Lundstrom to Davis. Was aware of the challenge from Hauger. Barisic shapes to shoot, beaten down by the goalkeeper. Hit it firmly left-footed from distance. Trapp pats the ball down, picked up by Davis, plays the ball in over the head of Tavernier and out for a goal kick, and still 1-1. Pat Nevin.
How many times has the ball been played for Tavernier where he's got behind the defender and it's been a yard too far for him? It's just that ball that he can get on the end of, that he can maybe play across, and time and again he's not been able to do it. By the way, the shot there, superb. Get it on target, like I was mentioning before. Get it on target. The keeper might make a mistake. He did there. Rangers were just unlucky it didn't bounce to one of their players.
Trapp with a goal kick. Unwavering support from the Rangers hordes inside this stadium in Seville as Hauger takes over from Knauf. Hauger to the edge of the area, all in white. Shot comes in then from the substitute Hrustic, and dragged it left-footed, well off target, out for a goal kick. 1-1.
If you're one of those substitutes, you're desperate to go on the ball. You should be desperate to go on the ball. You know, come on, you know everyone else is out on their feet and you've got all the energy in the world. So that's why, you know, Hrustic is a very important player. Jakic is a very important player for Eintracht Frankfurt just now, but certainly the case with Arfield. Get him on the ball as much as you possibly can, and maybe more than anyone else, just as Don Hutchinson said, Sakar. Get him one-on-one with anyone, no one will get near him.
McGregor with a long clearance downfield. It comes back towards Goalson, hooks it away, and out of play it goes for a throw to Eintracht Frankfurt. 2.5 minutes into this second period of extra time on BBC Radio 5 Live. We have Premier League coverage tomorrow and Sunday, but Knauf is attacking here for Eintracht Frankfurt. Just showed too much there and caught Barisic, who's gone down in the penalty area. It'll be a free kick to Rangers. He, though, has never stopped running, Knauf.
Yeah, I mean, he has got great pace here. The problem with everywhere you look, players have got problems now. So the ball goes down there. I'm trying to see, was it Barisic who went down? I also think there's another Rangers player. I think Bassey's hiding a little bit of a problem too. So you've got two players in that back line there that they've not pulled hamstrings, but they're getting cramps, and that can lead to really bad things. They need to keep on stretching. They are running out just totally at the moment. They're close to running on empty. I don't think they want any of those two taking the penalty for you.
I'll tell you who's not running on empty. The Rangers support Wonderful effort from the Rangers fans inside the stadium. Clearance downfield by McGregor. Jakic plays it out towards the far side. Kostic hits it earlier. Bassi towers over Boré in the air. Back to Goalson. Flat ball hit right-footed. Ducking underneath it, there was Lenz. Out of play it goes for a goal kick.
See if that happens again, I think I'll scream in Tavernier's favour. Time and again. Now, I mean, how many times has it happened? He's in space, just give it to him. Don't play a ball in front of him, he doesn't need it. Give it to his feet. They never seem to do it tonight, Rangers.
The other thing as well, as we touched upon in the build-up to the game, Kieran Maguire, who the author of Price of Football, was estimating that this would be the single most lucrative match in Rangers history. History, of course, of their 150th anniversary, because it brings with it the rewards of automatic qualification to the Champions League. And not only that, pot one as well in the group stages is where they'll be seeded as the Europa League winners. Davis picks up a loose ball in the centre of midfield. Barisic sends over a diagonal cross, drops in the penalty area. Tavernier back towards Lundstrom, couldn't get the shooting opportunity. And the break is on for Eintracht Frankfurt with Hauger. Hauger midway through his own half, all in white, playing from left to right. Over the halfway line he comes. Hauger still going, the fair-haired midfielder. Oh, that looked a handball from Sands. It was Kamada who played it out.
How is that?
Well,
that's a yellow card.
He's got away with it, Sands.
On. Oh, the referee's been extraordinarily lenient a multitude of times tonight. It's made it an open game though, hasn't it?
9 minutes remain. 9 minutes from a penalty shootout. We had the drama at Wembley in the FA Cup final. Talk about the title that culminates this weekend on 5 Live on Sunday. Then we've got the Champions League final the following week. End in Paris. Liverpool against Real Madrid. It was Real Madrid who were the last opponents for a Scottish side to triumph in Europe. That was in 1983. The 2022 Europa League final is 9 minutes away from penalties to decide who wins. Ball to Kamada, able to turn outside the centre circle in his own half. Canal ever willing to get forward on this near side, the right. Touré passes the ball now to Canal, comes in off the right touchline, opens up a little bit forward. Canal, who shoots, drags his shot, blocked. Lenz plays it out towards Kostic, left-hand side, delivers the cross. Kamada seemed to be tripped there off the ball by Bassi. He was looking for a penalty.
Tell you what, the referee's not giving them, is he, today? There's no way he's giving them today. But Bassi, he is really struggling. He can't stay with anyone. We've got another little angle of it here. Nah, there's nothing on that. I think Kamada's running in the back of him, hasn't he?
VAR not even having a check at that. Dismissed by the officials here in Seville. Rangers with Davis. Plays the ball out and then hit forward by James Sands. Up towards Arfield. Headed away by the Frankfurt defence. Davis now spreads it out towards Kent. Doesn't control the ball first time, but plays it down to Barisic. Barisic loses out to the sliding challenge.
He felt a bit overlapping, didn't he, Barisic? And thought, I don't really want to do this, but I got it, and he did. And he's paying for it now. Look at him. He is struggling.
Don't blame them though.
No, not at all. They put everything into it.
Here is Lundstrom back with Davis once again. Kent gives the ball to the Northern Ireland international. Plays it across then to Galton in the centre circle. Keeping an eye on the clock as well as Tavernier rolls away from Kostic. Sends over a cross. Sakala couldn't control it just inside the penalty area. The Sabi with a clearance behind him for Eintracht Frankfurt. Up towards Goalson, stooping header forward on the halfway line. Kent central position. Kent shoots, left-footed, moved in the air. The goalkeeper made the save. 1-1.
Understand why he took it on. I mean, he is about 30 yards out. There were other options. Archer, I think he probably made the wrong decision there. Arfield is actually ahead of him there. Could have played a little bit of a 1-2 there, but you could see the headlines, you could see the glory, you could see the history. You've seen the goalkeeper saving it though.
If Rangers could do it It would be a night that they will remember for years, as Knauf, Eintracht Frankfurt on the attack. Knauf right-hand side, delivers the cross. Hauger had made a run towards the near post. Tavernier clears. Sakala can't roll away. Eintracht Frankfurt have the ball back. It's with Hrustic. Shot comes in from Jakic. That was moving in the air. Hit it at fully 35 yards out, right-footed swerve. McGregor tried to get something on it. Whistle just over the top of the crossbar. 1-1 goal kick.
I think with the swerve on it, I agree with you. I don't think McGregor was getting that one there. You could tell by his reaction there. He was trying to go over to his left. It moved in the air. He's thrown up a late hand. Well, if he'd have saved that one, it would have been an amazing save. Another half chance there. No more than a half chance, but a good strike.
There are so many players from both sides who are flat on their feet. Barisic is struggling. They've got to keep going for another 5 minutes, and then they face the tension of a penalty shootout. McGregor for the goal kick for Rangers, away towards our right-hand side. All sorts of emotions with the tension and the drama here in Seville. Kent can't control the ball. Jakic in the midfield plays it out now towards Kostic, running forward over the halfway line. Hauger is ahead of him. Goalson goes with Hauger, the Norwegian international. Goalson says the last touch came off Hauger. The referee agrees, and nod of the head from the Slovenian referee, and that will be a goal kick, as we're under 5 minutes away from penalties on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. A Europa League final that is locked at 1-1.
Another player's gone down there, and there are about 5 players out in that pitch just now. Now, the 3 of them are wearing blue. In any other circumstances, they'd be taken off. They're not fit enough to carry on this game. But you're stuffed. If you walk off, there's a history element you have to take on. But you're running out of substitutes now. Have they got one left? I'm just trying to see if they've got one left. They've got one left, haven't they?
Well, Kemar Roof's about to come on. Barisic is struggling. Roof, who was able to train after that knee injury, so he's actually going to replace the Croatian international Barisic. Just think in a few days Rangers are going to have to recover in time for the Scottish Cup final at Hampden that you'll hear on Saturday afternoon on 5 Live. But first and foremost, their priority is to secure this Europa League trophy. And we're 4 minutes away from a penalty shootout. Barisic struggling to walk off the pitch. Kemar Roof coming on.
Well, the one upside to that, you're looking at Roof, he actually can come on and he can take a penalty kick, because there is another substitute he can make as well on top of that, which Rangers are going to do, because we are in the extra time, aren't we?
And that change will be Aaron Ramsey. What a boost this is for Rangers to see the experience of Aaron Ramsey, the Welsh international, 72 caps for his country, on loan from Juventus, to come on for the closing stages of this second period of extra time. And they're able to make this change because it's a double substitution. That's what they had to do, and it's Fashion Sakala who's gone off.
Which is a bit of a shock, really, considering, the pace he's got. If you're thinking now of penalty kicks and you need to make these changes now, who do you want on taking the penalty kick? Do you want Sakala? Do you want Ramsey? You'd probably take Ramsey, wouldn't you?
Ramsey, who scored winning goals in the FA Cup for Arsenal in 2014 and 2017. Who knows, he could have that decisive kick as the ball is played round the back, and Roof will get there. Kemar Roof for Rangers with the cut back into the penalty area. What a save by Trapp! Comes out towards Davis and he flashes the ball wide from the edge of the area. That was a match-saving save by Kevin Trapp, because Kemar Roof has cut the ball back. It was Ryan Kent arriving, and somehow Kevin Trapp has made an outstanding block save. Otherwise Rangers would have won the Europa League trophy.
They did nothing wrong there. I mean, Roof goes down the right hand side. I thought he'd left it too late to get the ball across there. Not sure if it was in or out, but Kent's done everything wrong. He's just gone about 60 yards there, got in the end there, kept it low, kept it perfect, kept it on target. Keeper's foot comes out and saves it. Doesn't matter what part you use, and that has just saved his team the trophy.
That was a brilliant save. Rangers, though, buoyed by that, finishing this game strongly, get a free kick. We are 90 seconds away. The Rangers fans are desperate for this free kick to go in the penalty area. Eintracht Frankfurt, as a result, will offer quite a high line for their shirts in white to protect Trapp. Might have just picked up a knock there on his left thigh. Just trying to stretch it, the goalkeeper. He had to make the save. It was a desperate effort, but he pulled it off. Free kick. Tavernier stands over it for Rangers. 1-1 on 5 Live. We're entering the last minute of extra time. Tavernier. Spinning ball floated into the penalty area. Comes out to Arfield, down into the ground. Blocked by Torre inside the penalty area. Sands retrieves it. Back to Bassi. Last line of defence. Back out towards Sands on that far side. The white shirts break. High line. Ball pumped forward. Headed away. Back inside. Tavernier has stayed forward. Ramsey trying to turn. Goes down. Free kick. Direct free kick for Rangers. Shooting possibility.
And immediately there's a number of players. I mean, Ramsey might fancy it himself. Tavernier is a specialist from there. Arfield's not bad from those positions as well. What an opportunity. And Davis, another one that can do it. There are a whole number of players there that Rangers have got that are capable of taking it. Personally, I'd like to see Tavernier take it, but we shall see.
Tavernier.
What a chance.
24 yards out, right-hand side. The boy from Bradford wipes down his face with his sleeves, hands on hips. The leading goal scorer in the Europa League. The additional time we're now into, and it's only a minute. This will win it for Rangers, surely. Eintracht Frankfurt have everybody back. It's right of centre. It's 1-1. The Rangers fans at that end, watching Tavernier. 18 goals he's scored from right back. He stands calm, arms down by his side, eyes it up, right-footed. Tavernier, what a save by Trapp. High up to the left-hand corner to make the save. It was certainly on target. 1-1 it remains.
It was up, it was down, it was over the wall. It's on target and it's in the corner. But the goalkeeper spotted it. He's went a little bit early. He's taken a chance and he's got in there. But Tavernier did nothing wrong there. Really good chance there. But their keeper's kept him in it, hasn't he? Trapp is in a very good last quarter.
And there is the end of extra time. Do not go anywhere on BBC Radio 5 Live. We have a penalty shootout, just as we did last year. 1-1 at the end of extra time. It was Rangers who took the lead in normal time through Aribo after 57 minutes. Boré with the equaliser. Rangers coming so close at the end of extra time. And now it's down to the coaches for their words of wisdom as we prepare ourselves for a penalty shootout on a dramatic night here in Seville. Kelly.
Dennis, thank you very much. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin in Seville for us. Don Hutchison, also part of our team this evening. Hutch, what do you make of what you've seen so far? You look, I can see you, and what I need to describe to people who are listening is you look exhausted. You look like you've played.
I feel like I've played as well. I thought James Tavernier, right at the end, Kelly, with that free kick, was going to win it, and then Kemar Roof comes on just before that. Oh, I'm just seeing a replay as well. Ryan Kent at the far post, great save from Kevin Trapp, and the Rangers fans behind the goal thinking they're going to win it with about a minute left. And then James Tavernier's free kick just after that. I mean, what a couple of chances. But now it's about bottle now. There's his penalties. It's the manager making brave calls. He put the Carla on. He's took them off because he wants Kemar Roof and Aaron Ramsey on. He thinks they're more technical for the penalties. Wow. This is huge.
I think what you're doing is summing up the emotions of every single Rangers fan who's either inside the stadium, listening on the radio, listening at home, listening in their car. They'll be feeling exactly what you're feeling right now.
It's just incredible because you're watching the game and you know how tense it is, and you're watching it and you're seeing half chances. You're watching the players go through so much work. You're seeing players go down with cramp. You see some fantastic play, but you see some nervy play. Some players at the end of the game didn't want to lose the game. Ryan Kent had the mindset and Kemar Roof had the mindset where they wanted to go and win the game. I must admit, I think there's more Eintracht players out on their feet now at this point than the Rangers boys. I think towards the end of the normal 90 minutes, I was seeing a few Rangers players really, really fatigued. All of a sudden, they look the fresher ones.
Yeah, They only have to run a few yards, though, to take a penalty. Not too far for them to go. There's huge moment as well for the goalkeepers as well. Alan McGregor's been great for Rangers. Trapp's been fantastic, particularly towards the end of this game for Frankfurt. It's their big moment as well.
Two very experienced goalkeepers that have been around the block. Kevin Trapp, German international. Alan McGregor's had a fantastic career. Can he produce a couple of saves? This is where the analysis team would have done their work, not only during this 90 minutes, but the days before. They'd be relaying messages to the goalkeepers that have been watching footage of Eintracht players taking penalties and which way they're going to take them. Certain players going to the right side, left side. Oliver Glasner, he is a student of the game. He will know exactly which Rangers players are going to take their penalties and the exact corners unless they change their mind. So this is just going to be an incredible watch. What a position for the Rangers players to go on and win this game.
The players making their way out into the centre of the pitch. They'll be standing on the halfway line as one by one they head up to take this penalty with the Europa League trophy at stake. It finished Rangers 1, Frankfurt 1 after 120 minutes. A couple of late, very, very good chances for Rangers. But Trapp in the Frankfurt goal was equal to them. Can he stop them getting their first European trophy in 50 years? Or can Rangers get their hands on that piece of silverware? It is tense inside the stadium. It's tense in the home of every single Rangers fan right around the country, right around the world. We're going to head back to Seville, where it's in their own hands now. It's going down to penalties with Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
So Eintracht Frankfurt have lost both of their UEFA penalty shootouts. The last was at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea in the semi-final of the Europa League back in 2019. Glasgow Rangers have won 3 of 4. 3 successive wins indeed. Their last against Fiorentina in the UEFA Cup semi-final in 2008.
There's something odd going on here. I'm not happy with this. They've not done the toss normally. They've got the 2 managers along with the 2 captains. It should be a straight toss, and then you decide if you want to go and play into your fans or not.
Yes.
There's some massive debate going on down there.
Well, they do. Normally they have the tosser they decide at the end, and the tosser wants to go first.
Yeah, and they walked away. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst doesn't look very happy about that, but no, I find that you want to win this toss, don't you?
Yeah.
You really want to win this toss.
Oh, it's at the Rangers' end. It'll be at the Rangers' end away towards our left-hand side. Rangers would have been facing a wall of white. Instead, it's Eintracht Frankfurt who are going to face a sea of blue. And now the toss is to who will go first, as Tavernier and Hasebe, the 2 captains, having a word with the Slovenian referee, Slavko Vincic. Here comes the second toss. It's at the Rangers' end.
Oh, he won that again.
Rangers won it again. And now does he go first? Well, we'll find out.
No, I think, well, we'll see. But that toss there, the tension in that toss was incredible, wasn't it? I mean, just a toss of a coin, and you knew that it would make a massive difference here. Rangers players were desperate to be running up. And if you're an Eintracht Frankfurt player and you're going to be walking up in front of that wall of blue and that wall of noise, that's horrible.
You think back as well to Alan McGregor and his experience of penalties as well. That's going to be massive, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't said that. Don't take anything away from Trapp. He's finished this game on such a high. He's played brilliantly. He saved his team twice already. He only needs to do it a couple more times.
Rangers won the toss to take the penalties at their end of the ground. They've won the toss and they've opted to go first, and it's Tavernier. He won so close to winning it with the penalty, with a free kick at the end of extra time. Quite a short run up for James Tavernier up against Kevin Trapp. It's a penalty shootout in the Europa League final, live here in Seville on 5 Live. Tavernier stuttering run up and then scores down the middle, right-footed. Trapp dives to his left. 1-0 Rangers.
I was going to say that's very brave, but every single player who walks up to take a penalty kick here is going to have to be incredibly brave. But he has gone there. Keeper's moved early. He's waited just a millisecond. Put it down the middle. 1-0. Pressure on Frankfurt.
What a din. Listen to the noise being created by the Rangers fans. It's Christopher Lenz, the substitute. Banging of the drums, banging of the seats, whistling. You do name anything, they're trying to put it off. A wall of noise to face Lenz.
By the way, and McGregor's done a clever thing. He's deliberately walked to the wrong side just to slow it down.
Creating the pressure for Lenz. You can't hear the referee's whistle. Lenz left-footed scores, and then he puts his finger to his lips to silence the Rangers support. It's 1-1 in the shootout.
Well, he won't be very popular. However, you need a... He's actually hitting his heart. And I don't know if that means he loves his club, but his heart is pounding just now, and I bet you it's pounding. However, another Rangers player who knows how to take a penalty walking up just now.
Stephen Davis, at 5'8", 37 years young, places the ball down. He's on 49 club career goals. This one, of course, won't count in regards to that statistic, but it's such a vital one. And what a penalty as well. Right-footed, high into the roof of the net on that right-hand side. 2-1 Rangers.
I know you often say that, but that's the perfect penalty kick, isn't it? Lots of power. Keeper goes the wrong way anyway. He could have gone the right way and had his mate in with him as well, and he wouldn't have scored it. He wouldn't have saved it. That is an amazing penalty kick in the top corner.
So now coming forward is Krustic, the substitute. McGregor, remember, saved a penalty against Red Star Belgrade earlier in the Europa League campaign. The 40-year-old on his goal line, all in yellow. Krustic waits. Rangers lead 2-1. Again, the Rangers supporters with the noise. Krustic rolls the ball. Excellent penalty. Left-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. 2-2 in the shootout on 5 Live.
Yep, keep in mind slightly early though. He's actually hit the side net in there. You cannot complain about that. Under massive pressure. The problem is, every single penalty now gets more and more and more pressure. This is horrible if you're a player.
Scott Arfield steps up, 33-year-old midfielder, signed from Burnley in 2018 on a free. Scored against Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final as an equalizer. Yet to score in this Europa League campaign, but he places the ball down on the spot. It's 2-2, remember, in this shootout. Arfield, long run up, comes forward, strikes it powerfully, and then punches the air in delight. Rangers have scored all three. 3-2.
Not only scored all three, but 3 brilliant penalties so far. But they've got 3 players that you would be comfortable with. You know, it's never easy to take a penalty, never easy in these situations. But they've had 3 players that have had lots and lots of experience. It'll slowly but surely get harder.
Just trying to see, this is Kamada who's coming forward now for Eintracht Frankfurt. Daichi Kamada. Got the winner at West Ham, remember, in the semi-final. Kamada, short run up, hands on hips. Eintracht Frankfurt with this shootout now. Excellent penalty, might have just clipped the inside of the right post. It died the right way, had McGregor. Another good penalty, 3 apiece.
Well, you talked about a 2-0 recently. Hey, no truth. That is absolutely magnificent. Every single penalty here has been as close to perfection as you can. There is no goalkeeper that saves that one. But that, again, just puts more pressure. Now, players come on. A lot of pressure on Ramsey.
Aaron Ramsey, the Welsh international, scored winning goals in the FA Cup at Wembley in 2014 and 2017. 3 apiece in the shootout on 5 Live. Aaron Ramsey, not been on the field for long, runs up now. Aaron Ramsey, right-footed, saved by Kevin Trapp. Advantage to Eintracht Frankfurt. Aaron Ramsey denied it in the shootout. And Eintracht Frankfurt have an opportunity to edge ahead.
I don't know if it looked clever when you go down the middle and the keeper moves. But he kept his legs there, didn't he? And he has gone down the middle there. It's got a little bit of power on it, but it's very low. And if the keeper stops there, it's low enough for him to get his foot across. I just wonder, did he leave his line at any point in time? Are they going to check that? I don't think they are. Rangers are up against it.
It's Kostic for Eintracht Frankfurt. This will be left-footed. Eintracht Frankfurt with Kostic gives them the advantage. Hits it low, left-footed into the bottom right-hand corner. McGregor dived the right way. And now all of a sudden, Kemar Roof has to score, otherwise Eintracht Frankfurt will win the shootout here in Seville.
Again, it's another one. He's got a fingertip to it, just a fingertip to it, but it's still hit the side netting. And it's horrible for these Rangers fans. It's right in front of them, and they know that this man could break all their own hearts, and he's one of their own.
Kemar Roof has to score. Only declared fit in the build-up to the game yesterday by Van Bronckhorst after a knee injury. The pressure on Roof is immense. Eintracht Frankfurt players are ready to celebrate. Roof has to score for Rangers. Stuttering run up, right-footed, does score, clips the inside left post. And now all of a sudden, McGregor has to make the save, otherwise Frankfurt will still win.
I mean, I say every pressure, every penalty is total and utter pressure. But when you know that if you score this, your team wins the competition, and if you miss it, you're still in it, there's that little bit less pressure. Can McGregor do it?
He saved against Red Star Belgrade. The 40-year-old, the oldest player in the history of this competition, has got to produce something special against Raphael Borre, who got Eintracht Frankfurt's equalizer, and now he can be the hero for Eintracht Frankfurt in the shootout. Borre runs up now, right-footed, and scores! Eintracht Frankfurt celebrates. It is heartbreak for Rangers. They lose the Europa League final in the most agonising of manners as Frankfurt celebrate their first European trophy in 42 years. They've beaten Rangers 5-4 in the penalty shootout.
It's torture. I mean, every single time you lose a cup final is torture. But after the work that they put in, after the fact that Rangers got better as the game went on, and then they get to penalty kicks, and I think they really believed in it. But the standard of penalty kicks was generally astonishingly high, apart from one in Ramsey. He's got to live with that for the rest of his life. I hope the finger isn't pointed at him forever. But for Rangers, what an opportunity they had. And they will kick themselves because it was there to be won and they couldn't do it.
You were surprised when Ramsey came on to replace Sakala. Aaron Ramsey, with his years of experience, the only player to miss out of the 10 penalties. And Eintracht Frankfurt are celebrating because they've beaten Rangers. And the Rangers support, a lot, was stunned initially, then they started applauding. But there are a lot of distraught Rangers players down there on the pitch, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, there's Rangers players, but also the fans as well. I mean, we can see them from here, but, you know, there are a lot of tears. And the build-up to this has been incredible. They know how important it was historically for the club. And they know that the opportunity was there. They know that they were good enough to win this one. And I'll say it first time, they'll say it last time. Had they had Morelos, had they had Roof fit, either of them two, Rangers would be walking away with this trophy just now, and they wouldn't have needed penalty kicks. And little things like that are the difference when you have to win a trophy.
Kelly, the Rangers players are now going up to the Rangers support, but they dared to dream after taking the lead. But after it finished 1-1 at the end of extra time, it's the Germans who win on penalties.
And Eintracht Frankfurt's name is being engraved onto the trophy ahead of the presentation. They have won the Europa League this season. They've beaten Rangers on penalties. It was a miss from Aaron Ramsey. Don Hutchison is also with us. Don, your thoughts?
You just got to feel really emotional for the Rangers fans that are crying, the players that have left so much on the pitch tonight. I mean, every single one of them, Kelly, have worked like you wouldn't believe. I think it was at 90 minutes where this wasn't Rangers' best version of themselves. I thought one or two got caught up in the emotion tonight. There were so many good performances. I've got to say, I thought Calvin Bassey for Rangers at the back was an absolute giant. He was a superstar, an incredible performance. Just a little bit emotional. I thought the first 45 flew away from the Rangers players, which, to be honest, is understandable. It's a cup final, it's a European Cup final. You know, it's quite easy for the minutes just to fly by, and then second half they were so much better. You start going deep into injury time, the squad started to look really good and fresh. I think when you look at the analysis again, I don't think Rangers played it to Ryan Kent enough. I thought he was the one that could cause the most damage, same as Sakala when he came off the bench. They looked dangerous. But listen, don't underestimate this Eintracht Frankfurt side. This is a club steeped in tradition and history. And we talk about Rangers beating Dortmund and Red Star and Leipzig. They've had to go through Real Betis and Barcelona and West Ham. What a performance from them.
Pat talked about the players who are missing for Rangers for this cup final. Is that, do you think, what made the difference in the end?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously you want your best players fit. I understand where Pat's coming from, but this is a European Cup final. This is the players out on the pitch. They've got to deliver. And I don't think there was enough of them done that tonight. I thought individually there was some fantastic performances. And I think Van Bronckhorst and Rangers fans can be absolutely 100% proud of the players. But they would love that game back again. Because Eintracht were there for the beating. Defensively, Eintracht was the worst I've saw them. Without Martin Hinteregger, they're nowhere near the same side. So they've just about done enough. But yes, I agree with Pat in the sentiment, and what he's saying is factually correct, where you want your best players. But it maybe was just a little bit of a bridge too far. It was there to be won. They just couldn't snatch it.
Pat, obviously the overriding emotion is going to be huge disappointment for those Rangers players out there. They're going to be exhausted after 120 minutes in that intense heat, in that deep humidity in Seville. Will they, when the dust settles, as Don said, think they were there for the taking?
No, they'll know that they were capable of beating that team. They will know it, because you watch all the players there, the individuals. You knew that when they bring on Sakala, he had to beat the defenders. You knew, just as Donald said, that the performances of that defence from Frankfurt is amazing that only one goal was scored. And that's why I mentioned the fact that two real top-class strikers that Rangers have got, had they been on the field, they would have destroyed them defenders. Absolutely destroyed them. So, you know, they will know that, but they will know the capability of doing it themselves. They didn't finish it when they had the little chance. And in the end, Trapp, who's just been given man of the match, actually, I wouldn't have given it to him. I'd have given it to Hasebe, who could come on and substitute and change their defence and made it slightly stronger. But they will go away for this knowing that is an amazing opportunity that is missed. And they don't know when they will get it back again. They've got to believe they'll get another win, but it's hard to get to European finals. And I was at the one in Manchester against Zenit. The Rangers didn't deserve to win that one. They were beaten by a better team. That wasn't the case tonight. This was a great chance.
All games come down to moments, but in a European Cup final, they're just magnified 1,000 times. And you think towards the end of the game when Ryan Kent came on and he had that opportunity when he came in and he pulled the ball back, when you saw Kamar Roof come on and make that opportunity for Ryan Kent. There were so many opportunities that they had, and you mentioned the goalkeeper for Frankfurt and what a great game he had. It feels as though that was the difference.
Yeah, and tiny little differences are what wins cup finals and wins trophies, and you need to get them right. And sometimes it's luck as much as anything else. Now, let's not forget, Eintracht Frankfurt had a few opportunities himself, and certainly there was one for Kamada, should have scored, absolutely should have scored, and he didn't put it over the bar. But at the end of the game, Rangers were stronger, although, you say they were stronger. There was about 3 of them that were crawling when they were trying to defend. And again, that's taken nothing away from them. And there is that sadness and there is that hurt when you look at a bunch of players who have given every single ounce of energy they have got. And you can't help feeling sorry for them. And I'm not looking at one Rangers player down there and say, you didn't put it in. You didn't give everything you had. You didn't leave it all out in the pitch. It's the oldest cliche in the book you get for a cup final. Don't leave anything in here, leave it all out in the pitch. They did, but it still wasn't enough, and it's torture and it hurts.
So what was it then, Pat? If it wasn't about the players, not leaving everything on the pitch, if it wasn't about asking for more from individual players, why will they feel this sense of what could have been from this final?
Look, if you're playing against a team that they're better than you, man for man, player for player, tactically, physically, whatever, if they're better than you walk away and you take it in the chin. And we've all been there, even in a final. It hurts, but you think, actually, we've been beaten by a really top-class side that they're better than us. Rangers can't say that. They won't say that, and they're right not to say that, because we said before the game, can you pick a winner? No, you can't, because it's a toss of a coin. Well, how close can you get? You can't get any closer just about than it went tonight. And if it is that close, you know that it is just tiny little moments. It's moments of quality, and it's not always the ones we're talking about, Kelly. It's not that, the save that Kent did everything right there. It was a good save. When you bring on a centre forward who's a real centre forward in Ruth, and you think, well, why didn't you bring him on earlier? Well, obviously he only had 10 minutes in his legs there, and they were worried about his hamstring. But it's other moments when there was a pass on and you didn't quite have the quality to get it. That's the reality of it, and that's what Van Bronckhorst has to bring to the team. And I know we were talking about Don there. Don was saying that's not a great Rangers performance. It's a really good one. It's a heartfelt one. But the pure quality, well, that wasn't quite there. And I've seen Rangers play better in terms of pure quality. And maybe that, and that reason alone, is maybe the reason you can say they didn't win the game.
On social media, Simon says, fantastic set of penalties by Frankfurt. What a shame for Rangers, though, having gone so far in the competition. Ben, cruel way to lose. Amazing that Frankfurt have done it considering their league season. Rangers management, fans, players should still be so proud of an incredible Europa League run. And John, that might be the best set of 5 pens I've ever seen in a shootout. All the Eintracht Frankfurt penalties were perfect, and that is what it came down to in the end. Don, do we need to put this in the wider context of Rangers season and the fact that they've reached the final of the Europa League? It won't feel like that now, but do we have to take a step back and put this into some perspective?
Absolutely, the journey that they've been on has been incredible. The 2 years that Rangers have been on, being champions, and then potentially going into the Champions League with the European trophy, it's sensational. Now the next step is, once you get to these scenarios, you've got to play at the very highest level. And when you talk about the work that Oliver Glasner done tonight and stopping the likes of James Tavernier, who's had an unbelievable season, didn't really get a kick tonight. That was the work of Filip Kostic up against him. Same for Barisic with Knauf on that right-hand side. But when you look at the Rangers' performances and you go, and Pat was saying about players leaving everything on the pitch, they absolutely done that. Joe Aribo played his 65th game for club and country tonight. Probably Van Bronckhorst couldn't have done much more. He couldn't have asked much more from his players. They left every single ounce of sweat out on that pitch. So when the dust settles, it'll be painful tonight. I guarantee you, that dressing room will be low. It's going to take some picking up. When they come back, it's probably still going to hurt for 1 or 2 days. But when you look back and you look at the Rangers' couple of seasons, what a ride they've had. And I think with Van Bronckhorst in charge, it's only going to get better.
Can I say one last word about that, Kelly? In the stands, they'll feel that. On the pitch, they'll feel that. In the boardrooms, they won't. They will be seeing those pound sounds and tens of millions of them disappearing up into this Seville skyline. And that's going to really hurt. And that might be the biggest thing about tonight. That next season, when they want to go and build and add that quality that they need to go and compete, against Celtic, who are improving, that's going to be the thing that in the end hurts the boardroom most. And in the long term, that's going to be the hardest thing to deal with.
Well, they've got to dust themselves down, Pat, because they've got Hearts in the cup final. So they've got to dust themselves down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I'm going to be at that cup final, and do you know what? I'm interested to see how many of those players. I don't think they'll want extra time in that one. Let's just say that.
I'm not sure they'd be capable of extra time in that one after this. John Lundstrom has been speaking to BT Sport. He said absolutely devastated. The boys have put the graft in, but we fell short. I feel like we've let people down. It's unbelievable. I'm just so heartbroken. Stephen Davis said the boys have been tremendous throughout the whole campaign, but it'll hurt tonight. I felt coming into the game we'd win it. So it's a major disappointment, but I'm so proud of the boys. And Ali McCoist, a hero, of course, to the Rangers fans, said, I'm absolutely gutted. The boys put so much into that game, but it wasn't to be. He talked about the chance for Ryan Kent to win it. That was the opportunity created by Kamar Roof, who'd just come on. The quality of Frankfurt's penalties were fantastic, he said as well. And of course, there was that free kick for James Tavernier that again was saved by Frankfurt. And it was just those tiny moments that decided it after 120 minutes and then down to penalties. And Rangers have been beaten by Frankfurt, who have won the Europa League. The Rangers players, the Rangers staff, they're queuing up to go and get their medals. The officials are making their way across the podium to make sure that they get their pieces of silverware as well. And then, of course, it will be the trophy presentation to Frankfurt, at which point there will be an incredible noise. But, Pat, they've been tens of thousands of Rangers fans in that stadium, and they have played their part in this game as well.
They have, and to us it was really interesting to see it between the two sets of fans. And Yeah, I'm stopping at the moment. I'm hesitating for a moment. I wanted to see the reaction of the Frankfurt fans towards the Rangers players as they got up to get the medals. It's really nice. Really nice. It's like they understand that their team have been put through it. They understand that they've been worthy opponents. They understand that they have, as they said, left everything on the pitch. That's an extraordinary, respectful reaction, isn't it? I'm Deno here, isn't it?
Yeah, also, Kelly, you can really gauge how much Rangers supporters dominated this stadium, because a lot have left, and we're left now with the empty red seats. There's still a healthy smattering of royal blue, but you're just left with that chunk of white towards our right-hand side. Otherwise, Rangers just have 2/3 of this stadium. That, I've got to say, there's been an element of the German support that's been unsavoury. They have caused trouble. There was 5 arrests yesterday, skirmishes outside earlier on. The good thing is that the Rangers support, bearing in mind the segregation was so wafer thin, there's a nice relationship between the two sets of supporters now inside the stadium.
It's been exceptional inside the stadium. I just hope it's the same outside the stadium as well. We shall see.
So the Rangers players are receiving their medals. It's not a great feeling to go up after a cup final and get the medal for a game which you haven't won, Don.
Well, I'll tell you what, the respect is on the pitch as well, because the Eintracht Frankfurt players have given Rangers a sort of guard of honour to get their medals, and this is going to hurt, and I hope Rangers do the same for the Eintracht players, because they deserve it. What an atmosphere, what a game, and I'm looking at the Rangers players getting their medals, and there's quite a few of them absolutely in bits, they're in tears, the shots are on the fans, there's young Rangers fans in absolute bits as well, they're crying, they're emotional, but all the Rangers fans that I can see on the TV now applauding their Rangers players as they're getting their medals. It's incredible.
So the Rangers fans have been giving their support to the players all night, and we've heard every second of it here on 5 Live. But the Europa League trophy goes to Frankfurt, and taking you through that, Ian Dennis.
Well, their coach, Oliver Glasner, has just gone and through a guard of honour, has dived head first in his casual attire with his polo shirt and his black trousers and his white pumps, as he now leads his successful Eintracht Frankfurt players down the line. And Kevin Trapp actually kisses the trophy as he makes his way across the podium after collecting his winner medal, and then on to another podium that says winners UEFA Europa League 2021-22, and it's got the crest of the Eintracht Frankfurt club, the Red Eagle, either side of that white lettering that is emblazoned with winners, and they're quickly filling up that podium as very, very soon they will be lifting the Europa League trophy. It's actually the heaviest silverware of the UEFA collection. It's like a silver vase. It weighs a whopping 15 kilos. It stands something like 65 centimetres tall, and it is gleaming down there under the floodlights here in Seville, as there are still hundreds of Rangers fans inside the stadium watching on, as the Rangers players have to watch on and can think that could have been us, as Boré embraces the trophy with a kiss. And now we wait for Sebastian Röder, who said yesterday that this would be the highlight of his career, who picks up the Europa League trophy, runs around the back of the podium, makes his way through the Eintracht Frankfurt players right into the heart and lifts it, and the fireworks go off behind, and the Eintracht Frankfurt supporters celebrate towards our right-hand side. Eintracht Frankfurt become Germany's first winners of the Europa League, the first since Schalke in '97 in the competition's history, and only the second time that they've won a European trophy, to add to the UEFA Cup that they won back in 1980, and the third side to win it without losing, after Chelsea did it 3 years ago and Villarreal last season. Now the ticker tape and the fireworks. It's Eintracht Frankfurt's night, and a sense of crushing disappointment for Rangers. Frankfurt won, Rangers won after extra time, but it was Frankfurt who prevailed, 5-4 on penalties.
And Christian Falk from Bild joins us now. Christian, what an incredible journey, what an incredible achievement for this Frankfurt team.
Yes, indeed. We're very, very happy here in Germany. everybody was with Frankfurt tonight. 25 years ago, the last German team was winning the UEFA Cup at this time, and now everybody is happy for these guys because they were really Euro fighters.
Rafael Borre with the winning penalty, but he had a fantastic game all round, and it was a brilliant winning penalty.
Yeah, it was. But also even Kevin Trapp, one of our headlines tomorrow in Bill is Here Flies Trapp to the Cup. I think he was a very, very important part. Also in extra time, the Rangers were very, very near to the goal, nearer than Frankfurt at this moment. So I think he was also a big match winner.
Absolutely. Those couple of chances, particularly towards the end of extra time, as you said, must have been very nervous moments from a Frankfurt perspective.
Yes, indeed. But I think over the whole time, Eintracht Frankfurt was making the game. But yeah, the Rangers, it was a little bit like watching Braveheart again. They came back every time. There was always a foot or a knee between when Frankfurt was trying to shoot, and every time they were dangerous. So it was really, really a great fight.
The Frankfurt players are celebrating on the pitch. The Rangers players are going over to commiserate with their families. But it's worth remembering here, and Christian, you can tell us more about the journey that Frankfurt have been on to this point.
Yes, the team finished at the place 11 in Bundesliga, so it wasn't this season in Germany for them, but in Europe they lose one game, and this was incredible. And they always had the spirit and the feeling to win this trophy at every time. Rode, the captain, when he was bleeding, he told us now that he was thinking of Bastian Schweinsteiger in the World Cup final in 2014. And when he was bleeding, he thought of him, and then he thought, this is a really good sign to win the cup. So they have a big mentality, this guy.
Yeah, and it's all those small details that lead to that kind of performance that takes them to a Europa League final and to a win in a Europa League final. Just tell me how you think this win for Eintracht Frankfurt will be received in the rest of Germany.
Yeah, it's a big history for Eintracht Frankfurt. The last title is 42 years ago, and it was also very important for the team to stick together, because if they didn't win this title, they wouldn't play Champions League, and then it would happen like every season when Frankfurt was playing good, the best players would have left. But now they have a really, really big chance to keep this team together, and then there can be something really, really huge, and because they're great players on the pitch. And I'm really, really happy that they're now in Champions League, and yeah, perhaps the next surprise next year.
Christian, talk us through the journey that Oliver Glasner's been as he's been the Eintracht Frankfurt manager. What an incredible journey he's been on.
Yeah, because last year he was the coach of Wolfsburg, and he had a really, really trouble with the sporting director, and he did a really, really good job in Wolfsburg. But then they changed the coach, and also he said he wanted to leave. And otherwise, I think Wolfsburg, which made a very, very bad season with him, would have done things really, really successful. And so you see how good this coach is, that he did it in so short time, made a Europa League winner from this team, as he did last year with Wolfsburg, a great job. Really, really. Yeah, you have to watch him. Perhaps we see him in Premier League sometime.
Christian, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much.
Have a nice evening, and a big respect to Glasgow.
Always a big respect to Glasgow, Christian. Thank you so much for that. Christian Falk there from Bild on Frankfurt and their fantastic win. However, the flip side of it is the disappointment from a Rangers point of view. Marina Bannatyne from the Heart and Hand Rangers pod joins us now. Marina, how are you feeling right now?
Gutted, I guess. Sad, disappointed, but still very proud of my team.
It is. It's those mixed emotions that are hard to put into words on the final whistle, but after the penalties, because in terms of the performance over the 90 minutes, over the 120, did you see those players give everything?
I don't think we played at our best. I don't know if it was. I don't think either team played at their best. But I don't know if it was the heat or what. But still, they're their heart was in it and they tried, and I guess that's all you can ask for. It's disappointing to come so close, but we put up a good fight. We didn't disgrace ourselves. We've had an incredible journey. It's been the most wonderful dream, but it's unfortunately it's over now. And congratulations to Christian and Frankfurt.
Oh, thank you for saying that, Marina. I'm just thinking about you mentioned the whole campaign to get to this point, to get to the Europa League final. It's probably a bit too soon after the end of the game, but you'll take away those great memories of those great nights on the way to Seville.
Absolutely. So many amazing nights that I booked this year. It really has. It's been so much fun. It's been wonderful. We've had the best times, and for those 10 minutes when we scored that goal, it was the best 10 minutes of my life. But yeah.
And Marina, there's still another cup final to go for on Saturday.
Yeah. Hopefully we're winning Saturday, and it was something to smile about again.
Marina, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just saying thank you for joining us. We're gonna go now, but thank you very much, Marina.
No, thank you for asking.
I think actually I don't think the line's great from there either.
So we just seem to have lost Kelly here in Seville. The Eintracht Frankfurt players are still out on the pitch, celebrating over on that far right-hand side with their supporters who have not moved. Your final thoughts, Pat Nevin?
I'd like to say well done Eintracht Frankfurt as well. They've worked very, very hard. They're not a team that I think are going to cause a lot of danger at the Champions League, but they've got a great work ethic as well. So well done them. And against teams that have been bigger than them, have had more talent than they've come through and won a trophy. So well done them. For Rangers, I am absolutely devastated. The work rate, the effort, and as a Scotsman, to have had two teams in the Champions League next season, for the money we would have came in, the fact that there's still a possibility of the World Cup for Scotland itself, that we're actually beginning to develop some good players as well. This would have been a wee icing on the cake, sadly.
And Don, what are your final thoughts as you sum up the night?
I think, as Pat said, I think it's one of them where you can be proud of Scottish football. Scottish football's certainly getting stronger. I think the league domestically is going to be stronger for Rangers and Celtic being in European football. It's just such a shame that Rangers couldn't join Celtic in the Champions League next season. That would have been immense for Scottish football. But I've covered the Bundesliga for quite a few years now, and Eintracht are a well-respected side. They've got some fantastic players. I was talking before the game about Sebastian Röder and what a simplistic leader, hard worker, grafter that he is, and Filip Kostic I thought was amazing. The Rangers players, Deno, I thought left everything out on the pitch. I thought they were absolutely incredible. I think, as Marina said there, she was very emotional. She wanted Rangers to play better and see the better version of Rangers tonight, but it's very difficult in the cup final. The heat, the humidity, such a big event getting in the Champions League, and it's just such a shame that Rangers couldn't bring it home.
It is. Don, thanks for your company tonight. It would have been the first time in 15 years that the two Glasgow clubs would have automatically qualified for the Champions League, but as it is, it'll be Eintracht Frankfurt who'll be going in to pot one of the Champions League when that draw is being made for the group stages for that competition next season as Europa League winners. And I've got a feeling, Colin Murray, that the celebrations are going to go on and on and on here.
They will.
From the 50,000 German fans who are in Seville.
Yeah, great coverage tonight. I think Kelly's data ran out. She hasn't paid her bill. So that's what's happened. I'm just watching her having a panic up. But they've already done extra time. Great stuff tonight. And enjoy the rest of your evening, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Colin.
Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful coverage on BBC Radio 5 Live tonight. If not the right result, the coverage was fantastic.